Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights number 8, and let's bring our fantastic co-hosts in. How are you two gentlemen doing this evening?
Doing great.
Fantastic.
Oh,
I am
and
still
drinking
sharing
scotch.
the link because I was a scrub and didn't share the link before the show went
Oh,
live. Details. I need to really get better at that. I do. And we do have a guest, and for those who don't know, in order to get this guest, I had to call up Dante, figure out the contact, info for Virgil, call up Virgil. He guided me through the 9 circles of hell. I've got the book back here if you guys want to know. Like, it's a crazy journey. And ladies and gentlemen, at the end of that, I was finally able to get to the man, the myth, the legend, Literature Devil. How are you doing?
Hello. Thanks for having me on. Doing pretty good.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on.
The thing is that Virgil is everyone's agent down here, so he knows everyone is.
So he is the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy to go to.
Okay. Well, I didn't know he was the guy. I thought he was like one of the guys. Well, thank you for clarifying. I'm gonna have to send him a care package now.
Some nice smoked meats, right?
Oh, dude, smoked meats.
Aloe vera.
And
Aloe
so
vera.
Literature Devil. I will shout out my birthday present from my wife one more time, just so you understand my reference. This is a version of Dante's Inferno from 1880 in its original binding.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It has some of the original 72. Oh, I have to be incredibly careful with this. Some of the original 72 illustrations that were in it. There were more illustrations that didn't actually make it to the book. I guess there was originally like 100 and something, but only 72 made it to the original. And my wife, so this is 142 years old in my hands right now. So, and one of my favorite books of all time. I love Dante's Inferno.
Man, you got to get a case for that.
I'm working on it.
Sooner rather than later, my friend.
Yeah, I have been told by my wife that I need to get gloves, and I'm going to go through it at least once, and then after that it goes in a case and it's locked away forever. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a fantastic guest this evening, and one that I am very excited for. A little bit of fangirl, not going to lie. And I have 2 awesome co-hosts here, which are absolutely amazing. But before I get to these awesome people, I have to get to something better than them. And that's the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to say hello to the chat, which me saying hello to the chat may or may not have been inspired by Literature Devil. So let's say hello to the chat. So Asher Bruner, hello, how are you doing? We have James Esparza down in the chat. Hello. I am so glad to see you here. Horizon Talker is down there. Galvin Gulata, it's time to get out the ban hammer. He brings the thought bots. Galvin Gulata brings the thought bots. Yep, we got to ban. We ban him when he brings the thought bots. Oh, and I just got a notification. Raul Neonzi has been a member for 1 month. So I am so absolutely happy to see him down. He says, "Get your hands on Vatican Championship Wrestling." The Lord Otter is down there as well.
Heard about it.
My daughter is over here being weird. Go upstairs, sweetheart. All right, come on. Hey, no, go. Oh, you're gonna. Okay, go upstairs. Go upstairs.
I have to get the remote.
All right, fine. Get the remote because you guys lose them all the time. Chris M is down in the chat. Hello, how are you doing? Swift Sword Rush, Winter Hail, Lord Apex. Yeah, Nikolai Paulwell is down there as well. Toxic Crusader, that man is absolutely toxic, as his name says. James Craig, hello. He was our special guest last week. Catherine Francis is down there as well. We have Wrangler. The chat just jumped on me, and I believe we have a new name down there. White Wolf Arts, hello. Kikomon, hello. How are you, good sir? It is fantastic to see everybody down there. And then over on the locals side, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a fan of this channel and you would like to support this channel without giving the money to the grubby hands of Google, you can go over to my locals. That's a drinkwithcrazy.locals.com. And you guys can actually send in tips and super chats over there in the live chat that I have going right now, and we will read them on air. We have some people who are here over in YouTube and over there. They're double dipping. We have Katie Francis, Swift Sword Rush, and Frequency Studios, also known as Wrangler, as well as Kikomon over there on the local side. So thank you guys so much. Go support the local side, guys, because I'm going to start putting out more and more stuff, and I'm figuring out how to work all of that in. But ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we have said hello to the chat. Thank you all so much for being here. But let's get over to Iron Age Media. Mr. Richard, how are you doing this week? How has your last week been?
It's been good. I've been getting my feet back under me after taking a vacation, and
I thought you
traveling
died.
And yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't
really
respond
did.
last week, and then I showed up in a bunker for the show. So
It was a good
now
bunker.
I'm back in my guest room.
There you
my
go.
studio. So
I am in a corner at the bottom of my stairs. So, sir, I aspire to be you one day.
I'm
Yeah.
in my sitting room.
All of my children take
Sitting
up my
room.
guest rooms. I don't know how that happened.
we have different levels of cultured here. Moving on down.
Yeah.
Mr. Daniel P. Riley, good sir, you have been a busy beaver this week. I've been watching your Twitter. How are you doing?
Doing very well. And yes, super busy. I have practically everything that I'm going to be producing in 2023 mapped out, and some of the moving parts already in the works. I've been commissioning artists for some new stuff for both G Sedai and Legacy of Heroes. And I got back to doing some writing finally, working on a supplementary short, a lore story, if you will, that will tie in between the first book, Legacy of Heroes, and the second book, Rising Stars. It's called Comedy's Tragedy. If you're familiar with the story, the introductory villains were called Comedy and Tragedy, a duo.
Yeah, but I like the wordplay that you did there on the classic literary,
Mhm.
obviously, storylines. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
And I'm fucking speech. I don't know. Fucking literature devil. How are you doing, dude? I can't believe I have you on my channel. I've been watching you for years, dude.
That's
This
pretty
is awesome.
Royce is shell-shocked.
I'm doing
dude.
good. I'm doing good today.
Good. How have you been? How has your last week been? You have a campaign that is at $22,310 based off of what I'm seeing here. Maybe
Very
more. Let me
nice.
I got a
refresh.
few more. Right.
Oh yes, you did.
Yeah, it's the numbers have been going up the last few days. On to 22,525. We just got 90% funded, I think, like a few minutes ago. So that's pretty awesome.
That's
That's
fantastic.
amazing. Well
Made
done.
good progress. Very good progress. Still 5 days left.
Yes.
Still have,
Okay.
maybe we're at what 2,000 something to go, but going on good trek so far. Good trek so far.
No, that is awesome, man. That is
I am
fantastic.
horrible at
So
crowdfunding.
this is going to be, and I am surprising my fantastic co-host with this. I am going to go a slightly different direction
Oh my.
in the first part of this than we have normally. Okay. 1, because I have questions. 2, because I'm fangirling hard. I don't give a damn. But I have wanted to ask for years the question, where did the name Literature Devil come from for your channel? How did you come up with that? And how did you decide to do your channel the way that you decided to do your channel?
Well, first of all, of course, I like books. That's a big one.
Well, Now,
books and writing.
Sir,
that
sir, books, we don't talk about. Oh,
Those are nasty stuff, right? The nasty stuff.
wait, hold on. My people tell me we actually do talk about books on this channel.
There's no such thing as books. What is this? What is this thing of the devils? You know.
I don't know why I'm here then if we don't talk about books.
I was never a book guy, which is so funny, and now apparently I am, which is awesome. I love it.
You eventually grow into it. People grow into it.
Yeah.
Well, then I also, of course, at that point, I noticed a whole bunch of things. Like all the heroes are now bad guys, and all the bad guys are now heroes. I was like, if you're going to be, if you're going to try to do things and try to speak the truth and explore the truth and things like that, and then be called a villain for it, well, Literature Devil it is.
That's I
Perfect.
never saw the twist on it. That's really cool.
And then
I
my
think-
first video was that's why my first video was, can a racist be heroic? And it's explore the truth, the dirty truth that anyone can be heroic, anyone can do a heroic action, even if they are racist or bigoted. And I put in some philosophy in there, things like that. So it's not just me trying to defend a concept or something like that. There's some backing to it in philosophical terms. So I just wanted to that I studied hard on what I was want to do as my first video, put that out there. As here is what my channel is going to be about, just taking on these topics, exploring it with philosophy and pretty much everything capable that I have in my repertoire of education. So that's what I did my first one, and I've been trying to keep it up ever since. Not just going into the complaint department, but trying to explore the truth and why things are the way they are, especially in the realm of stories, which mostly seems kind of like in that big clash of it's only subjective, it's all subjective. It's not subjective. There are subjective elements, but there's obviously an objectivity to art, objectivity especially to storytelling. What we want, what we have, what we learn from heroes, what we want to learn from heroes, how heroes affect us, how they're supposed to affect us, things like that. So going into these ideas of exploring the truth behind stories, the philosophy behind stories, why characters work the way they work, why stories work the way they work, and not just let the weirdos, soy boys win and say, oh, it's all subjective. Therefore, our stuff is good. And if you say it's terrible, then it's like your opinion, man. And therefore, Ray is good. Therefore, Ray is good, and maybe she'll go out with me, or something like that. Something like that. All these intellectuals who want to feel superior by saying all these things are great because of these touchy-feely things, reasons, when there's no actual basis there.
Well, and they're shallow touchy-feelies too.
Absolutely.
At the very most, they're shallow. At the very least, they're absolutely duplicitous.
It's like for show. It's like
exactly
to show off. It's like it's not really. It's kind of like buying a fancy car that's terrible but it looks nice or something like that. Or buying a
sir.
Stuff like that. Some fancy food
I was just having that conversation with my daughter.
Oh
I
no!
happen to know a lot of people that would highly, highly have problems with what you just said. That's really cool to see how you and I don't think I came across your channel with my earliest memory of your channel, but I want to say one of my earliest memories of like when I actually started to pay attention to you. I think I'd come across you once or twice before, but was the, you know, is Rhea the is Rhea Mary Sue
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah.
video, and I remember watching that, and you actually
Obviously.
broke down what a Mary, what would that, and that's what I loved about your channel. That's what had me hooked. Is like you break down, you're like, here's, if first of all it's a literary term, here's where it comes from, here's the list of what encompasses that, and here's what Rey is. And oh, by the way, Rey is actually more of a Mary Sue than the original Mary Sue.
Yeah, pretty
Like-
much. 'Cause at least the original Mary Sue, quote unquote, original Mary Sue, was like a joke to make
Yeah.
fun of characters that are actually like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ray
It was,
is
well,
like
it
that
was a
way
joke
but
to make
serious.
fun of the
Queen
fan
Mary Sue.
characters.
Yeah, I was going
And-
back, and I think I was trying to remember when I came across you. It was, why are so many SJW characters or SJW written characters
The Mary Sues.
Mary Sue's? And I don't know if is that the first one that really went viral.
Yeah, that was the first one, I think. That one got me
Okay.
in real trouble.
Yeah.
But it was good. That was good.
Yeah, it was very well done, and yeah, I think that I was gonna say I don't like to, you know, necessarily dredge up Twitter drama or anything like that, but there was some back and forth about what makes a Mary Sue and everything else. And one of the comments I saw on Twitter this week, and one of the comments I saw was that from actually I think John Douglas, is that like Mary Sue is an ensemble kind of thing as well. It's not just that the character is OP or something. It's that like everybody else is kind of rendered emasculated or just kind of useless in general.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And I thought that was that kind of
Is a
paired
really
in
good
nicely
point.
with basically matched what you were saying about it.
I think I touched on that one in another video. I'm not sure if it's like a Mary Sue specific video, but it is like I do kind of break it down in that way. That's not just a character; it's character plus plot, a character
Mhm,
plus
mhm.
narrative. So you can have like a character like that's how all these anime characters can be so powerful and still not be
Yeah.
Mary Sue's.
Mhm.
Their power level is matched by the story. So in a Mary
Mhm.
Sue situation, your Mary Sue character will not encounter problems, not real problems. In fact, I have a whole video on this where Mary Sue's can encounter problems and they can have flaws. They're not really narratively significant. Like she'll be clumsy or something like that. Never really comes a problem. But they make her clumsy or something kind of like innocuous, so they can say, "Oh, look, she has a flaw, therefore she's not a Mary Sue."
Mhm.
Okay, how's that dampen her progression? How's that hurt her?
Well-
It doesn't. And then you have the
Yeah.
the other hand of
Yeah.
they're powerful or they're always correct. They don't have to necessarily be like god level powerful, but they're always correct. They're always right. They always have the right answer without having to struggle to get it. They just like immediately know what it is, and no one else can touch them. So now, then you have the anime characters who have power, but then of course there's someone else out there in the world. For every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So these characters have power, but there's also someone else out there that can challenge them on some level, on a very significantly, narratively significant level. They can either match them or outmatch them. Like, so they can find someone more powerful than them that can stomp them into the ground. Unless you're something like One Punch Man, where it's not really about power versus power.
Yeah.
It's more like the
Well,
philosophy of
and
heroism.
One Punch Man is, and I've not watched it, but I've watched enough about it to realize it's kind of the subversion of like the Goku thing, right?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, and I really, really love it. Oh, this
Bit of a
just popped
comedy.
up. Yosaru just became a member of the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Yosaru. Sorry, those disappear rapidly in the chat, so I have to call those out when they happen. Go on. Sorry to interrupt you, Literature Devil.
I was just saying that, there's a little combination there with anime characters. And people say, well, how come you all like anime characters? They're really powerful. But the thing is, it's never really about power. Now, power is, I think I explained it in one of my first videos, in fact, where a lot of these things we kind of traditionally have attached to Mary Sue's are kind of like the rustling leaves. Don't necessarily make a character Mary Sue, but what's behind them. What's going on behind it, the very like raw materials, the foundational materials of a character and things. That's what makes them a Mary Sue. They have raw power. Okay, fine. How does that affect the story? Well, the narrative, they find people out there that match that power or outmatch that power, and they get struggles and they have to overcome conflict in order to solve their problems. Okay, fine. That's a good story. You need to have that conflict. As Neil Gaiman says, when you have conflict, you have a story. and
Mhm.
I do like Neil Gaiman, so I always reference that guy. But
Guys, I'm gonna go let the dogs outside. I apologize. It's the
Sounds good.
Bloodhound. As soon as I go live, she's just like, "Oh, Dad, I need to talk." I'm like, "But why?"
I got a dog
Why
that does the
blood?
same thing. Just every once in a
Oh.
while, he just wants to become a character in the stream.
I know. I'm like, but just see. And here's the thing: last 2.5 hours, nothing, quiet. I click the go live button. Bam. I'm like, it's like that. I swear the frequency in the air changes and they can hear it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
know. They know.
They know. Oh, Dad's doing something important. Nope, not tonight, Dad.
The
It's
attention
a lot
is
like
mine.
it's like my children. I wonder how that works. But anyway, I'll be right back. Sorry about this.
It sounds good.
So
Sounds good.
I was going to say, I was actually going to ask you about Mary Sue characters and such in the context of horror movies. I've found like the past 5 years of horror movies to be not necessarily all the mainstream ones, but a lot of, I usually kind of lean towards the budget horror, but I feel like they are just awful because you know exactly what's going to happen. And even though, like, so you can almost have, like, in my mind, you can almost have Mary Sue's that aren't even overpowered. It's like I can identify the character that is going to have nothing meaningfully wrong happen to them. And by the end of the movie, they're going to be like stronger and more powerful than they walked in.
Yeah.
And it's very dull. I can't even bring myself to sit through them.
It is very dull, and that's because Ray was a perfect depiction of a Mary Sue because there's that one moment where she fixes the Millennium Falcon. It's like, I bypassed the compressor. It's exactly what Mary Sue's do. They just instantly find the solution. They bypass the story. It's why we find them so boring, because one, they bypass all the character development, all the story, and they bypass any conflict, and they're just really boring to watch. Now they're supposed to push these characters as like power fantasies for little girls, like to look up to. That's not true. Well, it doesn't turn out to be true. That might be their intention, maybe.
But it doesn't work.
It doesn't work because, first of all, they're trying to write a power fantasy for little girls to look up to, but the power fantasy they're writing is for men. Men and women have different power fantasies. And this is not me speaking. This is empirically true if you go by what men and women watch and what they read and everything. Because men and women like different conflicts. It's because Ray identifies as male.
Well said.
I don't know. It's possible. I don't know these days.
One of the earliest videos we did on A Drink with Crazy, after I reformatted it, started as a political channel, and I realized I love listening to politics and postulating about it. I hate talking about it on a live stream.
I kept thinking. I hear people talk about politics, and I kept thinking if I began as a political channel, I'd just like end my life or something.
It drove me nuts. After 2 months, I stopped it, and I decided to reformat the channel because I still wanted to talk about those things, but in a different way. But one of the earliest channels one of the earliest videos on this channel is we actually talked about, strong female characters. And believe it or not, and Literature Devil, I know, because I've wanted to talk with you about this for years. But we put Ray up against Korra. And although The Legend of Korra may not have been a well-written show, I still firmly believe that based off of watching the whole show and watching it many times at this point, it's a poorly written show, but I don't think Korra is a Mary Sue, and I think Ray is.
I would agree with that.
I haven't seen the whole show, Korra. I've seen season 1.
No, I was just say I haven't seen that.
Oh, you've only seen season 1.
Yeah, I can only stand up to season 1. After that,
Okay.
I was like,
Okay,
I got better things to do.
So here's the thing. Season 1, I give credence to because I caught something early on, and maybe this is just me reading too much into it. But what caught me early on seemed to be this dichotomy between the original Avatar series and Korra. And you had Aang, who he didn't want to be. So it's the difference between a religious world and a more agnostic world, right? Or even almost an anti-theistic world, right? Whereas Aang didn't want to be the Avatar, but the world believed in the Avatar and they needed him. And there was that religious thing. And no, we need you to be the Avatar, right? and Aang was the religious, he was supposed to be the religious figure in a religious world, and he didn't want to be, and his journey was becoming that religious figure. Korra, on the other hand, wanted to be that religious figure, but in an agnostic world, and they kind of threw that at you very early on. I also happen to know a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Nickelodeon meddled heavily in that and like wanted to squash that show, but it was because of fan engagement and fan like petitions and stuff that it even continued. And I really liked that dichotomy there. I really liked that they were trying to separate the two characters. Aang was this shy little guy, and Korra was this loudmouth, arrogant, just B word, right?
Oh yeah,
and they
I
really
agree.
and they really drove that home. And a lot of people, oh well, she was a Mary Sue, and I'm like, you didn't see season 3.
Absolutely
didn't see
not.
season-
I couldn't make it season
So
3.
so here's the thing: season 2 is abysmally bad. Season 2 is bad. However, because of the decisions that she makes at the end of season 2, which she thinks are good decisions, and admittedly, in the world that they were building up, could have gone one way, could have gone the other. In season 3, it's kind of this whole no good deed goes unpunished, right? And she almost gets murdered at the end of season 3 and then suffers severe PTSD into season 4. I mean, they beat the brakes off of her at the end of season 3. And like, I would say this, season 3 of Korra, it wouldn't stand up to the highest points of The Last Airbender, just because the writing and again the studio meddling. But I absolutely believe that season 3 would stand up to at least some of the lower to medium levels of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I do like the idea of Korra suffering in probably an unending fashion. That sounds good to me. I mean,
well, but if you actually see it, she doesn't get herself out of it. She almost dies. And it's the people who are like, oh crap. And it's other people around her that save her life. And then she actually, and that's why when everybody's like, oh, she's a Mary Sue, I'm like, you didn't actually watch the whole season. A lot of people, I understand, got put off from the first part of it. But I really read the first season as, okay, they are really trying to make Korra not Aang. Not that they're trying to subvert. I never got that back in the day.
It's a very obvious version.
Yeah, I still, and they were like, oh, well, why did they give her the three elements off the bat? And I'm like, well, she's a cocky character. They give her something to be cocky about. I get that, but she sucks at airbending. And that's just something that I looked at, and now knowing that you only got through season 1. And again, and season 1 rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but it intrigued me enough because I was like, well, wait a minute. Aang was and again, I saw the philosophy and again, I'm digging into it deeper, but would that change your mind to watch the show again and try to go through it if you come at it from a mindset of, okay, Aang was supposed to be the religious figure that the religious world wanted, and he didn't want to be, but grew into that. And Korra wanted to be that religious figure in more of a anti-theistic or even agnostic world.
Well, I kind of saw. I actually tried to watch the whole show again I think early in the year. I believe so. And then I just saw the old hallmarks of terrible writing. Where I mean, where's a tangible goal in the beginning? Aang had conquered the Fire Nation, stopped the war, beat the Fire Lord. That's why the Fire Lord was barely in it. Like, we got to have someone to defeat. That's the guy. Tangible goal: beat the Fire Lord to win. That's the tangible goal. Tangible goal Korra is go to the city, and then she goes to the city, and then she starts playing sports, and then she like gets a boyfriend, and there's like, what is this? Sex in the City, Avatar world? I'm like, what the hell?
Well, and yeah, and no, you're not wrong. And okay, so correct me if I'm wrong here. I always read that as
it's a fish out of water story. It's supposed to be like that, like the beginning, anyway.
Man, maybe I'm wrong. I feel like they were trying to make the story about being a better person and trying to grow Korra instead of having the villain be the outside. And I've seen the whole series. at this point, like multiple times, and I actually really love it because they didn't hit on the storytelling points they didn't hit on, but there's some philosophy that I know the writers were trying for that they just couldn't get through. But I always felt that they were trying to do more of a character, like growing from being this arrogant little bitch
I can see the seeds
to
of that,
actually
yeah.
being something that was to someone that was somewhat endearing. And I felt like they almost
So
got
a
there by the
redemption
end.
arc.
Yeah,
But
a little bit of a redemption arc.
They set it up that way, yeah, because the White Lotus had become. Although I do have a different theory. I have a theory about the Avatar: Last Airbender that I found really, really fun. Obviously, it's not true, but it's just fun. I call it my evil Iroh theory. It's just a lot of fun. But you can tell about it later if you want to. But
I thought I heard you talking about that a few weeks back.
I think so. Maybe I talked about it. I think at least twice. But it's my most fun theory. Obviously, they didn't go with it. It's not true. It's not like a secret thing that's actually happening.
Yeah, no.
It's not real. But I just found seeds of it that were they going to go this way? Could they have gone this way? Is this cool? I don't know. I just like the idea of because there's so many connections there. But anyway, so they did set it up for that way for Korra, because the White Lotus at that point had become like a kind of Avatar caretakers, and so she's very very elitist, kind of like Jaden Smith or something like that. Like, doesn't know anything about the world. Very protected. Very I mean, at this point, Korra, if she had a Twitter, she'd be the most cringe ever. Talking about random philosophy that kind of connects to nothing at all. But yeah, so she goes to the city, Republic City, and it's very clear she's a fish out of water. She's like, what's money? What is all this? Why come, like, she's so out of place? It's so out of place, and she's so spoiled. She doesn't feel like a spoiled character, but she feels not like a bratty, like a elitist. Like, I look down on everyone, oddly enough, but she doesn't really connect like a normal person. She doesn't have the same struggles as anyone else.
Very sheltered.
Exactly. She's been catered to her whole life. And so they did have seeds of that, where she would be this person who is going to be this, on top of the world, elitist, pampered, protected, and sheltered. And then she would come down and learn how the reality goes, so she can connect with people as the Avatar. But I mean, if they're going to go with that, it should have been more of a major setback. Her outcast status should have been more of a huge major setback on multiple terms. Like when she starts stepping into her role as the Avatar, she's supposed to. She should be making decisions that were that sound good. Like, she should be like a lefty type, just making things that sound good, that feel good, but don't have any practicality. It's kind of like the idea of just do this, right? Just stop all this trade.
We have empty houses and we have homeless. Just put the homeless into those empty houses.
Exactly, something like that. Like remember that thing in the American Revolution where it's like the quartering or whatever it is, where they would forcibly house soldiers, and they would have to pay for them and stuff like that. That. So Korra could see, like, okay, Miss Avatar, what is your first decree? We have a big homeless problem, and she goes, well, obviously we have room, right? So people have room in their houses, have homeless go and move into the people's houses. And okay, we do that. So, and then she gets in the practicalities of it. So, that sort of thing, where she would make decisions, she would roll, make moves as the Avatar, and then there'd be huge blowback, and she'd be like demonized because all of her decisions are made based off of someone who's been sheltered her whole life and have no really practicality in real life.
They kind of did that in season 3, believe it or not.
See, that's the problem. We should have done that in season 1.
No, and you're not wrong. And you're not wrong. And I will agree with you there. They took too long to get to there. I don't disagree. I think that and like I said, for years, my argument is she's not a Mary Sue. She's OP to a certain degree. And the story beats her off, and the side characters around her are not totally there. Sometimes they're really on, sometimes they're not. It does not live up to the first series. It doesn't. But there was enough there that interested me that I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I might be more generous to it than I should be, but I do like the show.
Remember that one thing in I think it was Last Jedi, where like it's supposed to be Rey learning from Luke, but Luke is the one who has to learn the lesson because Yoda pops up, starts burning books and stuff, and it's like, hey, failure is the best lesson, or something like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm Luke Skywalker. I just forgot my entire character's history and journey. And all of a sudden, Luke has to be the one who learns. I was like, what the hell? And then Well, Ray's supposed to be learning here, but no, she doesn't have to learn. She's Mary Sue. So in
Yeah.
Legend of Korra, in season 1, where she's like doing her Skyrim thing, in Skyrim where you're like kind of like you're supposed to be fighting these dragons, but you go off and play cards or something like that instead, like those mini games or something. So Korra in the city, Avatar, ready to do something. So obviously she goes off to play some freaking sports game, right? And for no reason at all. It's like, what the hell is this?
Okay.
So at that, and so in the beginning,
I have a point to counteract.
with the sports thing.
I do have a point to counteract.
Was it camaraderie, right, or something like that?
No, and it's not. And I did like this, and it's because I'm a father. The way that you think that your children will learn, especially because we homeschool, is not necessarily the way that they will learn. And because, again, like I've said, Korra was a stubborn bitch. No matter what Tenzin did, he couldn't drive home how to do the airbender stuff. But all of a sudden, when it was something that she was passionate about, she fell back on what Tenzin was trying to teach her. And you saw that. And there was actually a dialogue where she was like, I just fell into this moment. And he goes, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the things that I thought you would resonate with, because I resonated with them, didn't work. But I saw in that moment that the things that I was trying to teach you, when it really mattered, they kind of shined through. They came through. And there's a give and take there.
And then Tenzin learned his lesson.
No, he didn't, though. But he didn't. He didn't learn his lesson. And I think a lot of people are a little too harsh on that. I think, and it's when you're sitting in school and you have these teachers and you're like, dude, what the absolute hell? Like, because we've all had crap teachers, and then you have those really good teachers who actually take time to figure out how you learn as a person. And I have always been sensitive to that. I've always hated teachers. No, there's one way to learn. You can only learn this way. You can't learn another way. Screw you for being you. I've always hated that. And I always really liked that moment in The Legend of Korra when Tenzin was like, look, I want you to learn these lessons, but I realize I might have been going about it in the way that you don't learn the best. And now, knowing that you're passionate about this thing, I can use that thing to teach you better.
So he learned his lesson.
What? But there was
he learned how to be a better teacher, and he learned at the end of the day his arc was complete. He from Korra finally taught Tenzin how to be a better teacher.
Mhm.
No, I don't think it was Korra that taught him how to be a better teacher. I think
she went on her own and decided to do this sports thing out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, and then Tenzin's like, no, stop. Oh, wait a minute, this is great. Good job, Korra.
No, but that wasn't it though. But there was conflict. But there was conflict there. There was a little bit of character growth, and you actually saw a lot of that in how Tenzin interacted with his brothers and sisters in the later arcs too.
I just can't remember that Tenzin was like the son of Aang, and how cool it would have been for as a mentor to be like, okay, you suck at this. Like this whole relic thing that you destroyed, by the way, this didn't work. And then he would be like a Miyagi move, and like, okay, how about I teach you how to do it this way then? Like if Tenzin figured it out and said, Korra, go join the sports team thing, and then she's like, I don't want to do this is stupid, and then she does it and she learns. That could have been a better teaching moment where narratively it all would have strung together a little bit better.
So wait a minute. So her going off to do the thing that she wanted to do, and then when she was literally backed in the corner, because she was literally getting her ass beaten off, and then in order to, good sir, not like that. What have you been watching? Anyway, but she was in a bad way. And in order to succeed, she had to fall back on what Tenzin showed her. That's how she succeeded in that match. Is because she fell back on what Tenzin was showing her. Okay, go on. Sorry.
My theory is that you watched this show all the way to season 3, and now you have a sort of Stockholm syndrome. That's my
syndrome.
No, I've watched the entire thing multiple times,
or however long. No, I've
watched it. I've watched it all the way through multiple times, and actually, it's because of Literature Devil and how he's talked about it that I've actually gone back to that. That's why I brought it up, because I've actually gone back and I've watched it again and again
I haven't even
with
watched
the critical eye,
original
with what he
Airbenders,
said
so I'm
about
just-
it, to see about, because I'm not above changing my opinion on something at all. Again, the writing sucks. And poor writing is poor writing, but I don't want to ascribe to poor writing something that isn't there.
I can't even say she's Mary Sue though. I'm just saying there's really poor elements there that should have been shorn up to preserve Tenzin as a viable mentor, and then also have them both learn and grow together. And Tenzin, having these ideas, coming up with the ideas as a mentor and guiding Korra would have made him a more viable mentor while still having some room to grow himself.
You're right there. I will secede that point. You are right there. I think yes. And again, that just goes to the writing sucks. The writing of the show was not good, and I secede that point entirely. But I don't think it's as crap of a show as a lot of people have said it is over the years.
I haven't finished it, so I can't really say how the show is entirely. But I'm not going to say it's lacking any good points at all. It does have some really good stuff that I do enjoy. I actually do like Korra as a character. Actually, her personality.
Whoa, that's the. Hold on, that's the first I've heard you say this.
Yeah, I enjoy her personality and things like that. And unfortunately, it's marred. It's not a pure character.
Yeah.
It's kind of this, like, I would say, like dirty water. It's kind of like there's some good stuff here, but it's marred by a couple of things here and a couple of things there. But Korra is not immediately she's not immediately offensive. Like she tries to do her best in the beginning. She's just in awe of everything. But the writing just kind of takes her into a bad direction. Like this, she gets into immediate shenanigans that to me feel almost meaningless, because it's like, oh, like Mr. Magoo, oh, here we go. Here's some shenanigans. We need some more direct, more narratively and character significant shenanigans, like making decisions, like a character or something. But her personality, I kind of enjoyed, and the writers still got personality down. Each character still felt like a unique human being to some extent. It's the writing and the plot that really marred a lot of it, and where the plot progression went, the ideas of the characters, things like that got a little questionable. But the creation and build structure of a lot of the characters, at least from what I've seen in season 1, they're very unique. They felt different from each other. The writing, again, is very shallow in a lot of places. Could have been way better. A lot of points outright abysmal. But
yes,
the characters they got all right. That's why I probably was able to watch the entire first season to begin with. And when I first watched it, it's pretty good. It's pretty good in terms of characters. Korra specifically, I quite enjoyed her personality and the way she handled things until she became a whore and started dating both guys at once. The both brothers. Or led one on and stuff.
She didn't exactly date them, but I see what you're getting there.
Lead one on, like, Korra, this is not hero material.
And that was bad writing, because when you watch the show, you realize that's not like what they wanted to do. But again, back to the bad writing. The show was not written well.
Yeah,
it just wasn't.
All bad writing.
It wasn't at all. And
season 3, I would say season 3 is such a standout, because season 3 is actually really freaking good. Like,
it's kind of like Star Trek Enterprise. Like, the first couple of seasons are terrible, then the third one got really good.
Like, it's season 3 is so much better than all of the other seasons. And it sucks, because if the writing would have been on par with season 3, with the building up of all the different characters and the way that they interacted, and then obviously seeing Korra going through the crap that she went through. I mean, they almost killed her. Like, they literally almost killed her in the final episode. Like, it was insane. And you're just like, holy crap. But it just, I agree with you. Like, the writing suffers a lot. And I swore to myself, if I was ever able to talk with you about this, I was going to. And so, gentlemen, I apologize, but this is something I wanted to do for years, and I had to do it. I had to bring this up, because I'm just like, man, if I can ever talk with him about it, but no, I am satisfied now.
The animation is also great. The animation did not skip on the animation core at all. It's
Mm-mm.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. The
Mhm.
animation is beautiful as it was in Avatar's Last Airbender, maybe even sometimes even more so because they know what they're doing now a little bit better. It's a second series. Of course, they
Mhm.
learned from the first one. They can improve on things. Also, Bolin and his brother. What's his name? What's his brother's name? I forget what his brother was. The
Yeah,
two guys.
Bolin. Yeah. No,
The-
Bolin was the Earthbender. His brother was, oh God, I can't remember off the top of my head. Yes, but
But-
he was the love. He was the love interest.
It was like, wow, that's his Sokka cracked in half. Like, like his one
No,
brother-
okay, yeah. You're 100% right. That was bad. That was. However, the two characters as the show went on didn't feel so much as Sokka cracked. They actually did separate into two different characters, which was nice to see in season 4, which was probably the second worst season. Which is
So they had one good season.
They had one. They had
One good
season
season.
3.
It was the third season. All right,
Like-
so wait through the first 2 cringe seasons to get to a good one, and then back to the crap.
Dude, if you thought season 1 was bad, season 2 is hard. Season 2, it's
At
and-
least season 1 had Blum there, you know.
and it's season 1. I would say it would be season 3 for sure. Is like definitely top, and then like seasons 1 and 4 might tie, maybe just depending on how you feel about them. And then season 2 was just weird. Season 2 was just weird. All right, Mark, I'll get to you. God, Mark,
Mother
I
of
sent
all
him the invite.
friggin-
Well, to be fair, I have seen
Interrupt
things
the
like
Korra talk, Mike.
Willow.
Yeah.
I have seen Disney's Willow and a few other things, so my tolerance for cringe might be a little higher now. So we'll see how it goes.
So, Lit, if
Um,
you really think the writing in the first season of Willow is bad, are you going to watch it 3 times like Royce does with his shows?
I
But here's the
stopped
thing is,
after like the 4th episode.
Dude, I think I made it 2 episodes into Korra, and I'm like, okay, bye.
Think- Things that are here's the thing. Things that are genuinely bad, I bow out of.
You described it as that 3 times already.
He's on you
No,
now.
no. But
These
the
work,
thing
you
that
know.
hooked me,
I think it might
the
be your
thing
guilty
that hooked
pleasure
me
or
with
something.
the thing that hooked me with Korra was, and again, it's probably just a flaw of mine. I really wanted to see to the end, and it's not so bad that I won't watch it, and I actually still watch it with my kids because it's just I do still genuinely enjoy the show. I do. It's got its problems. It does. But the thing that hooked me was the fact that they weren't trying to make Korra Aang, and 2, they were trying to draw that parallel. They did it in a crappy way, but I could see it there in the back. They were trying to draw that parallel between the 2 different worlds that Aang and Korra lived in. One being the very religious world that wanted the Avatar, with Aang being, not wanting to be the Avatar. And then obviously the very agnostic world. Huh?
I said I was here. I heard you say this the
Well, yeah.
first time.
But I'm trying to tell you that's what.
No, but I
drew me
heard
in.
it.
was-
Just pretend like I was here the whole time, because I was.
I don't ever pretend you're here the whole time. But that's what drew me in. I still feel that warrant that.
How
has
many
some merit
hours
to
did
it.
you waste on this show that you felt really
One or
sucked?
2.
He's watched.
I
4
didn't come to the
seasons.
conclusion. No. And here's the thing: because I have to recognize its faults. I do. I still enjoy the show, and I've watched the entire series probably 3 to 5 times at this
times.
point.
3 to 5?
3 to 5, yeah.
No, I genuinely enjoy the show. I really do.
Bro.
I recognize its faults. Trust me. I understand its faults, and I can talk
Got a
about
lot of
its
spare
faults.
time on your hands, Royce.
I've got 4 children.
Yeah.
You understand about
I mean,
spare
to be
time.
fair,
Can't you?
How many
watched-
how many
can't
how
you-
many bad shows have you watched with your kids?
I don't let my kids watch bad shows. I
You
won't
could-
even let my kids watch shows with bad animation.
You could show them this other show that's really cool called Avatar: Last Airbender. I heard that one's way better.
There you go.
We've watched that about a dozen times in my house. I come
Go for
home and
2
my
dozen.
kids-
Go for 2 dozen, you know.
yeah, no, I've watched it 2 dozen times because I remember waiting for the next episode to come out every week. Like,
Yeah, me too. I was
That-
looking
that
at
show-
Richard's correct. I think Royce just has Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
no,
I think it's true.
no, it's got its
I was-
no,
I was
it's
just
got
kidding,
its guys, it's got its problems. And if you can't, I can at least admit that yes, I enjoy a show that's probably got problems. It's not good, but I still
It
enjoy
can
it.
change. I can make it better. I promise.
Oh,
No,
time for
No.
new believable shows, and we can do it.
no, the show is never going to. Now, that would be something that I would actually like to see. Now, that being said, those same people are actually doing the Dragon Prince, which
like
I
the
thought
Dragon
was
That
gonna,
thing is just nonsense.
I thought it was going to have some promise, and I liked the first
I like the
season,
first season of
and then
Dragon Prince.
after that, it's just been a really strong downhill. And I'm even telling my kids, like, don't watch this anymore.
Why don't you just
Like,
not
I-
watch Naruto?
Huh?
Watch Naruto.
My daughters, I never got into Naruto. My daughter loves Naruto.
Well, yeah,
It's
there's a lot of
so
shipping
good.
and stuff.
I mean, not the fillers, but
it's got the shipping fodder. It's got all the characters, and they're at a ninja school and stuff. So yeah, it's got the shipping fodder in there,
Yeah,
like
my
Mario
kids-
Academia.
I got my
Yeah.
my kid into My Hero. I really like it, My Hero Academia, and
First
actually
season's
the kids.
great. I like that one.
Yeah. Then what's not to
Heroism,
like
I,
about
wait,
it?
wait. What do you not like about
yeah,
the?
why are you pretending like there's nothing else to watch besides the stuff that you already said has bad writing?
I mean, if anything, there's so much anime out there. I feel like it's just a endless. Like,
Yeah, there's an endless
fire
supply of
hose.
stuff that doesn't suck.
Yeah, go back to the old well.
What are you
It's
talking
good.
about? I'm literally praising things, and you guys are like, "No, stop saying it sucks." I'm like, What part about it was good? Do you not understand?
The part where you said, "I know the writing is really, really bad for 3 of the 4 seasons." That part.
No, but there's also this part where I also see what they were going for, and it was enough to intrigue me, and I gave it a chance all the way through.
Like,
And
going-
you know what? That's enough.
not
That I
so
go, you
bad
know what?
when
Yeah,
the
I'll watch it.
second
The
chance,
animation's good. The action set pieces are animation's good. Action set pieces are good. The voice acting is overall on point for the most part. There's a couple points that are a little off. I like a couple of the more C-list characters that they bring in. But like I said, and then they had some really good story beats in there. And overall, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. Which is enough for me to watch it. If
20?
it falls under a 50%, like I'm not gonna watch it. But overall, it's enough that I would go back, revisit it because it's got enough there that I want to revisit it. What's
I've been
wrong
watch-
with that?
After watching season
It's
one,
not so bad once you get to know it.
I think
It just has bad days sometimes.
don't arrest core
lets me have
officers.
fun
That's
on
me in a nutshell.
It's good. He's a good man. Okay, Officer Core is a good show. He got
He
angry,
made me.
got
He made me
drunk.
watch. It was my fault. It was my fault.
It was my fault, officer. It was my fault.
Tonight's Iron Age Nights. Royce was
After watching
intervention.
season one, I think it was a critical narrative mistake for them to give her all the powers when she was a kid. Right
might
from the
have been-
get-go. Like, her powers to have
It-
all the powers, like Cartman from South Park. My avatar starts off with all the powers except one. Okay,
Yeah.
but it was narratively a mistake going back and looking at it, because they could have gone with giving her one power, which is probably water or whatever, and then going to Republic City and having a tangible goal of I gotta learn this, and then I gotta learn this, and I gotta learn this. I gotta learn fire or something like that. And then they'll do the
I
same thing.
think that the way that they introduced it was wrong. I don't know if I necessarily agree with you in going about it that way, because I think they were trying to make it not Aang's story again. And I think they just overcorrected in the wrong way.
Yeah, they overcorrect. I mean, they could have gone another way. They could have
Yeah.
given her all the powers and still had like a cool story. But
Mhm.
going back,
I
and
agree.
looking back at what they gave us, I think it would have been safer for them to give her this one power and then have her go to Republic City and then learn from each mentor again to learn each element, and go through that, learn how the history of the world, how different people are, and you'll as Korra learns, we learn, and as Korra learns about the powers, we learn about the new philosophies, new insights. Because I would say two fire masters would probably have two different philosophies on how to firebend, that sort of thing. Two earth masters have two different philosophies on how to earthbend.
Yeah.
So
That
like
would've
what
been-
100 years later, we'll have an Earth Master living in Republic City who can give Korra his version of the philosophy of earthbending, his version of how things work, and his look upon society and things like that. And so, as we learn the philosophy, we can learn from people who have lived in Republic City and get an organic, detailed description of the background. So, going back, I think it would have been far more beneficial for the story had they just given her one power and then she goes and learns everything else. So she can learn.
You're
everything
saying
else.
give her a gray Jedi teacher.
So what about giving her so what about giving her the 3 powers, right? And then so she's really cocky with it, but then giving her a reality check is like, oh, you think you know earthbending?
Well, yeah, we need a tangible
Yeah.
goal. Like she needs to fight somebody or need to learn something.
Yeah, no, and like I said, they tried to do this route where it wasn't so much about the powers and it was about her just being ignorant to the world and trying to like teach her about the world, and they didn't do it in the best way.
Because that's not
And
a
again,
tangible goal.
but I can appreciate. I don't know. I still got a soft spot in my heart for the show. It's again.
I just see Bart Simpson with the "at least you tried" cake.
No, but it's and like I said, it's I can recognize when something that I like is bad. Guys, I am a fan of the Expendables. And the first one is really good. The second one, not so much. And the third one, Mel Gibson played a good villain. I love all of them.
I've never claimed to have good taste, so that's that's kind of my. I don't worry about it too much.
I have my taste. I don't care if I have good taste or bad taste.
Yeah.
I mean, I can like bad stuff. I like Howard the Duck. So.
Oh yeah, I like a
Howard
lot of bad
the Duck.
stuff. But
I
know
I love B movies.
I know it's
Oh, yeah.
terrible, but I love slasher movies. Like I love those Halloween. Halloween. They're awful. Like they're tremendously awful, but I love them still. Like I love the grease schlocky kung fu movies. Yeah, I love them.
Oh, those are amazing.
Yeah,
That's my wheelhouse right there.
If they don't
films.
have the misaligned lyrics or dubbing, where it looks like the off sync with the lip sync stuff, I can't really watch. I need to have the off sync. Yeah, exactly. I need to have all that stuff. It's great. Also, I made a YouTube short so that going over tangible goals. So we can have like a little summary if you want to show it.
Share it.
I'm sharing it. Right. Oh, there it is. There you go.
Yeah. I'm bad at this literature
go.
devil.
Check this out.
Let's see if we can hear it.
Yeah, let's see if we can hear it.
In an interview, Eric Edson mentioned 4 viable goals to keep your story grounded and focused and give an identifiable end to your journey. Win, which is like the team in Shaolin Soccer trying to win the big game against Team Evil. Stop, which is Harry Potter trying to stop Voldemort's return. Escape, which is like Luke, Han, and Princess Leia trying to escape the Death Star. And Retrieve, which is like Brian Mills and Taken, fighting through a horde of kidnappers to get his daughter back. Keep your goals tangible and keep your audience's attention.
So those are the 4 main tangible goals. And you can elaborate on any of them. Win could be a lot of things. Retrieve could be a lot of different scenarios. Stop and escape, a lot of different scenarios. But these are really good when you want to do you need to have a tangible goal for there to be something for the audience to grab onto. Now you can have like a intangible goal, like I need to feel better. How do you feel better? By winning something, retrieving something, or stopping something, or escaping something. That's something like that. So you can have an intangible goal, but you need to have a tangible goal for your story to head towards. And unfortunately, at least in the beginning, Korra didn't really have that. She's like, you need to go to Republic City. Awesome. What do I do here? I know. I'll just date some
Korra's
guy.
Korra's goal was arrogant. Korra's goal in the beginning, and that's what kind of drew me into it, was her goal was to go and be the Avatar. That was her goal. I'm going to go and be the Avatar for the people.
By doing what though?
But that's the thing, is she didn't know.
Avatar.
And
Avatar.
the intention of this show that only really hit in the 3rd season was to take this arrogant character and humble them. Whereas it was in the original version, it was to take obviously Aang, who was a humble character, and not make him arrogant, but make him grow to where he needed to be a the avatar of the people, and it was to take this arrogant character with Korra and make her the avatar of the people and bring her back. And so they were supposed to start on the opposite ends of the spectrum, and again, they didn't hit a lot. Season 3, I still argue, is really good.
There's an obvious reason why in there.
Well, okay,
The bad writing.
okay.
No, I'm
Give
not.
me my
no.
lashings
Yes,
when I get
but
back.
no.
My wife is calling me to do something off of the honeydew list.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Hey,
No,
I'm,
back.
I'm glad you brought up Shaolin Soccer. I love the director of.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know,
he
I don't
also
remember his
did
name, but
Kung Fu
Egg
Hustle,
Gum,
right?
dude.
Oh yeah, Kung Fu Hustle was
Yeah.
excellent.
is a perfect film.
I
You
can
ever
I've
seen
both.
watched
God
that
of Cooking?
movie 1,000 times. It is a
Uh,
perfect movie.
I can both. I like Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer. But I like Shaolin Soccer better because I played 10 years of soccer. So
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen God of Cooking?
No.
No, but I heard
Even-
about it.
It's one of Stephen Chow's earlier stuff, way before Shaolin Soccer and
Oh, really?
Kung Fu Hustle, and it's literally a martial arts version of a movie about chefs.
Awesome.
There's no like fighting in it, but they get outrageous with their culinary stuff, and it's bizarrely a wonderful. He's so.
What's it
I
called?
think
I
it's like
gotta
Food
write this down.
Wars. There's a Food
It's
Wars anime.
Food Wars taken
Well,
to this absurd
No, what was it
martial
called?
arts level.
What was it called?
God of Cooking.
God of.
God of Cooking. Yeah, I
Yeah, check it
tried to
out.
find it, and I couldn't figure
It
out
probably
where it
has
was.
another
I
name
tried to watch it.
translation wise, but it's the English dub version was called God of Cooking.
Yeah. Has he done anything else?
I
Since
think didn't he
recently.
start? I thought I heard about one other thing.
because yeah,
Um,
Shaolin Soccer and Kung Fu Hustle are so bloody good. I'd watch anything by this guy.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. It just most of it doesn't make it overseas.
Oh, really?
Interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say Literature Devil. My wife randomly, she usually texts me off and on throughout the live stream, and she's an author, and she said that she had watched your short previously, whenever she was writing one of the short stories for the Iron Age prompts, and she found it very helpful. She
Oh, very
likes
cool.
lists and things like that, so
Awesome,
she wanted me to
awesome.
tell you 2 thumbs up, good job. She
Glad I
appreciated
could
it.
help. Glad I could help.
I was curious. I had seen, so obviously I knew about your Dr. Alpha series, but I noticed that you also have some very short previous books that aren't available anymore. Were those just earlier endeavors? Were those kind of before you did the YouTube thing, or?
Yeah, they're really early. I think some of them were just kind of like novels or little short stories I did. This is usually I can try to sell some of them and little stories I had for fun. But then when I considered going into Dr. Alpha like a more serious endeavor, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to cut these off and then focus
Yeah.
everything on this to clean as a clean slate, that sort of thing. But
Yeah,
I did like the ones I did though.
Yeah, I was curious about them, and like I think like popped on Goodreads and to read a little bit about it, and like the only review on one of them was like this clearly enraged
Yeah.
SJW.
And I got no
left you
traction
one
on those.
star.
And they're like, oh man, this sucks. Women have boobs in this thing. I was like, yeah, I had a scene in there that I thought was kind of funny where one of the characters just takes out something from between her boobs, and it's like I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they got really mad at that scene because
Well, you know,
there's boobs in there.
it's
So.
That's a
you
woman's
can't
wallet,
please everybody,
man.
right?
But yeah, I got rid of those. Like, it didn't get any traction anyway. So I was like, okay, we're gonna focus everything on this, and I feel a lot better about the comic book because I went over that. It's more serious endeavor, more thoroughly edited and everything. So yeah, so I got rid of those and focused on the comic book endeavor.
Now, I saw that you did a fair amount of posting about videos about Comicsgate, and I had actually missed that series of videos that you did. I actually commented that apparently your live streams don't show up in my feed. So like they don't even go to my subscription feed. I had no idea that you did daily live streams.
I think
But-
I think they get like shadow banned or something like that. I'm not really sure.
They definitely do. Yeah, you 100% have been hit with that. So
Lame.
anyway, but I was looking into that, and I was wanting to ask you, I'm sure you've answered this before, but what made you go for the comic format with Dr. Alpha.
Well, it was a superhero thing, and it was like, oh, it'd be kind of
Mhm.
cool if I can, because I would want to do a comic book, and I was writing Dr. Alpha as a short story anyway, so like that
Yeah.
would be a more serious endeavor, but in prose, and then the opportunity to make comics, like the whole comic book thing was coming up, and I was like, I thought that was pretty cool. I always want to make a comic book, and I want to try my hand at it. And what better way to go into it than to try and make Dr. Alpha into that comic book, because it had a lot of comic booky stuff in there going off of some
Mhm.
things. So I thought it would enhance the way the story went. I get more visuals, more vibrant scenes and things. So I thought it'd been perfect to move into it. I thought it was perfect to
Yeah, I definitely think that
comic
there's
book.
certain like characters and plots and things like that that lend themselves to certain mediums. You know, like uh, I mean, maybe this is just me being uncultured, but like some of the Jane Austen novels, you can read them and they're great and all, but as far as movies go, I'm falling asleep for sure. The only good thing about them is that they're quicker than the books, um, in
Oh, yeah.
some cases, But I, uh,
I
you
like
know,
the movies.
not that I don't like Jane Austen, but I don't know. I feel like there's some things that really lend themselves to certain mediums, and definitely I think just the entire comic genre has a very specific action vibe that communicates well.
I thought
So
it was fun. I always wanted to do it. I always wanted to make a comic book, and I even looked into it. I even looked into like, okay, how do you sign up to get a job at DC and Marvel? Obviously, you can't because it's impossible
mhm.
Yeah.
unless you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who has the right politics, or something like that. But
Yeah.
then okay, so I'll just do that idea away. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just stick with prose, because I also studied that, and I'd never written a comic book before. So that was the whole thing. I was like, okay, well, that's not very viable, because if I want to do my own, it's going to cost an immense amount of money because I can't draw. So I was like, okay, I want to do my superhero stuff, but I'll do it in prose. So I began The Mysterious Dr. Alpha. That's the original title of the series. That's what it's going to be, The Mysterious Dr.
Mhm.
Alpha. And then I wrote the whole thing, and I kept it on a shelf for a while, which was Miracle Child. And then I wrote part one of it, and then the opportunity came in where comic books were becoming a big thing, and crowdfunding comic books became a big thing. It's like, the opportunity opened the door, and I wanted to seize the opportunity to finally make this comic book that I wanted to make. And Dr. Alpha was the perfect story to try my hand at it for the first time. So I thought it was pretty awesome. Very cool opportunity. Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. I'm I'm glad, because like I say on the other shows all the time, it's like, people who have an audience that isn't necessarily familiar with comics, they can fall in love with comics by being introduced to the genre by people like yourself. People like Shad, Ripa. I think it's great for the industry itself. I don't want the industry to go away. I want Marvel and DC to freaking wise up, but I don't think they're going to. But
Right.
without them, comic book stores, as in that particular outlet for being able to reach people with comics, they're just going to disappear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Did you ever see the movie Hannibal? Like with the Anthony Hopkins in there,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
and there's like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
portion at the end where they capture Hannibal Lecter, and it's Mason Verger, and he's like, I bet you'd wish to kill me now, huh? And then Mason Verger in a wheelchair, face peeled off, ugly, hideous man because he peeled off his own face, neck broken. He's a kind of invalid from the neck down, pathetic creature more or less, other than his money and his absolute endless cruelty. And then he's like, I bet you wish you killed me now, because now at that point Mason Verger is going to feed Hannibal Lecter to his hogs, very slowly. And then Hannibal Lecter doesn't say, yeah, I wish I killed you. No, he goes, no, Mason, I much prefer you how you are. And that is how I want DC and Marvel to stay. I much prefer them how they are. I want them to stay alive but not dead, but not thriving. I want them to stay exactly how they are, crippled and ugly, and then they can show forever how bad things can be.
Well, and
no, I want
don't
Elon Musk
think you-
to buy them both.
Oh God, no. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point though is that there's an ecosystem downstream of those companies that uh, make up a lot of the communities that we'd otherwise be a part of. And I think that I don't know if anybody else here is into tabletop gaming or war gaming or any of that at all.
I'm getting into it.
Okay.
I'm getting into it. It's quite fun. The little bit of tabletop I've played. It's really fun.
I'm
Yeah,
less into
it could be a good
wargaming
time.
and more into role playing games.
Yeah, but I mean, well,
Oh,
the thing
daddy,
about role-playing
chill.
games is that it's a little bit easier to connect and maintain like D&D and stuff like that online. But
Mhm.
with, for example, all of the Warhammer 40K type stuff, Games Workshop has been pretty abusive towards its fans, and Wizards of the Coast in general has been extremely abusive of its fans.
Mhm.
And I want to see these franchises, to a certain degree punished, but also the problem is that, still these shops make most of their money
Mhm.
off of the Warhammer franchises, the
Right.
Games Workshop stuff.
I-
And so I just don't want, it's kind of
Yeah,
one of these
that's
things
the same
where
thing with the
I
comic
So-
book shops. Their bread and butter is Marvel and DC, which is
Mhm.
why
So-
Yeah.
they're ending up selling tabletop games and Monopoly and
exactly, yeah.
and
So what
Funkos,
it
you know?
so are all of us at least me, and I think what I'm thinking is absolutely built off of what Richard is saying. And this may not happen, but it's kind of my hope and why I'm trying to do what I'm doing on the channel by shouting out the smaller creators and things like that. But I'm hoping that these Goliaths stay maimed, for long enough that the new guys can kind of come up and replace them, and then the Goliaths that we've known kind of drop off, and we get this transition period where the comic book stores, I'm hoping for a happy medium. I don't want
Yeah.
people to go out of business. Obviously this is a utopian fantasy that I have. I don't want stores to go out of business. I don't want people to lose their jobs. I want people to be engaged, but I would like these Goliaths to kind of stay just relevant long enough for the new guys to come in and then take their place, and then the stores just get filled up with the new guys.
Well, that's the thing. The new guys aren't going into the stores.
Yeah.
And some of them
Yeah,
are trying, but
They're trying, but
is a
there's no middle
threshold.
market. With
There's
the
a
scale.
threshold of scale and money for the new guys to get into the stores based off of what has come before, with the Goliaths having built up this system before.
It's more of a perfect storm because I actually worked with a guy who owned a comic book shop and he folded a couple of years back.
Wow.
It's more of a perfect storm than most people realize. It's not just the Marvel DC bullcrap that keeps them afloat but doesn't bring in new customers. It's online market. It's individual application platforms, virtual comics or whatever they're calling them, digital comic books, whatever. All of those things, they take a chunk of everything. Because why go to a comic book store if you can just get it on your computer, or you can get it on your tablet? All of those things chip away at what's already a very fragile foundation for a niche shop. And the only shops that successfully exist, they parse their funds out through online marketing. I know a guy who ran a comic book shop and actually went wholly online and started becoming he calls himself a comic curator. It's basically someone requests this like obscure issue of a series that they want, and he goes and looks for it and brokers the deal. And that's how he's maintained his status as a company, but he's wholly online now. He has no physical store anymore because it wasn't worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means there's no outreach.
Well, and I mean, the other thing is that, like, for tabletop gaming, which is just what I go to because it's what I'm familiar with, and physical media is kind of a requirement for that. I'm down in Houston. There's 7 million people in the Houston area. Okay, there are maybe there's less than a dozen tabletop stores. Okay, and these are stores that have tables to rent for people. There's probably, I would say, like a
As
second
big
tier
as
of store.
tabletop is right now, too. That's
Yeah, I
Wow.
know. And there's
Wow.
probably several dozen more stores that are literally nothing but a counter and a bunch of collapsible tables and chairs. Okay, and they do things like Magic
But it's a
competitions
super
and stuff
niche.
on the weekends. But that's it. They don't do anything except that. You
Yeah,
know?
it's
And
super niche
How-
though.
How niche of
It-
a market are all of us in? I mean,
I mean, we're super niche. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
we are like
But-
below status niche, most of us.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, does
even
that-
if you
Yeah,
look at
the
like
problem is that comics is already a niche market, and like what
Yeah.
you're
Mhm.
asking, well, at what we're doing, what as independent publishers on our own platforms, on our own websites, it's a niche of a niche. And
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
so
you know,
yeah,
but
the
I
further
mean, it's
down it
great
goes, the
because
smaller the
with
percent is.
a couple thousand customers, you can make a lot of money,
Mhm.
and you can
Yeah.
produce. But yeah, I mean, the idea, if you want to fight the culture war, you can't just move the needle with a couple thousand customers. You need to get mass distribution, and whether it's comic shops or whether it's Target or grocery stores or whatever it is, you have to get it out. That's why I think in a lot of cases webtoons and the crowd distribution, dude, they get way more eyeballs. They get
Mhm.
way more
Mhm.
eyeballs than Marvel and DC do.
Yep.
Right. And so it's like, if you're fighting the culture war
But-
and you're like,
but also
yeah, but
they
I'm not
have a
gonna do
lot
anything
more
digitally.
creators than Marvel and DC do too, and that's kind of the other side of the sword, right? I mean, it's a double-edged sword. They might get more eyeballs, but there's so many more authors, creators, artists out there.
Yeah, but cream always rises to the top.
Well, and that is true. But I guess you have to go through a lot. You have to go through a lot more milk to find the good cream.
Yeah.
Right
so
now,
to
yeah,
speak.
right now, the indie sphere has so
Well-
much cream, so much piping hot cream, ready to
Right.
drench.
My
I
issue-
have-
There's
my
cream
issue is-
everywhere.
is people talking about this being a culture war, but really it's like, what's the forward vision of your battle or your part in this culture war? Is it just to make your comic so you can sell it to 600 people and make
Right.
a living? That's not fighting the culture war. That's not going to change anything. You know what I mean?
Well-
there's gotta be, I mean, that's a good, it can be a start, but
Mhm.
unless you have a vision and some plan to actually affect the actual culture, not just fill your own pockets and appease a few hundred
Well-
people, that's the thing. The culture war is it needs some generals and some game plans.
That's
And, you know.
part of the reason that I'm trying, because I can't, dude. I couldn't draw a stick figure to save my soul. But what I can do is I can look at what other people are writing and see the enthusiasm they have for their writing and feel that enthusiasm, and then try to get that enthusiasm out there for other people. And then tell other people, hey, if you're like me and you couldn't write a book, you couldn't draw excellently.
You can write a book just fine.
Shut up. I can't. Stop it. I'm
Yeah,
a
you
drunkard. I'm a drunkard.
You could read it.
Don't you lie to people. I drink beer and that's what I do. But jokes aside, we need to build people who are excited about these things and get that out there. And I've been hugely honored by some fans of this channel, and who I actually talked with, and I talk with them quite frequently over in my Gilded, who've said, man, I love what you do on your channel and I see how much you're trying to do, but you're just one guy. I'm going to start doing what you do. And other people are now in Frequency Studios. I'll shout out the channel. He has told me this directly. Go check out Frequency Studios channels. He's reading the books. He's getting the books. He's bringing the authors on his channel. He's talking about this stuff. He is trying to build this because it's not just about the authors. It's not just about the artists. It's not just about the storytellers. It is about us as consumers actively looking for something and actively wanting to say, hey guys, that cream you're drinking over there is really sour. Why don't you come drink the good cream? We need to have, and I guess that's what I'm trying to do.
Come drink our cream.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask this
We've got-
question.
we've
Has
got-
anybody here ever had like raw cow's milk, like
Man's
basically
cream.
24 hours removed from coming out of the cow? Has anybody here ever?
Squirrel.
I'm assuming. Okay, I have. You literally you milk the cow, and then you strain the milk. I'm dead serious. You strain the milk.
No, I know.
You put it
I'm
in the
just-
mason jars. You put it in a freezer for 24 hours because that will kill any bacteria, and then you drink it. And literally, the cream sits on the top.
Hmm.
And then you can grab it and you can shake it before you pour it in a glass. But I like literally like I grew up.
I
on
don't
that.
drink milk because I'm not 8 years old.
I drink beer. I can't tell you the last time I had a glass of milk, probably because it's not raw. But seriously, but that's where the thing comes from.
Off, gentlemen.
And when it
I'm
gets
reading
sour, you know. Sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, guys, I'm a farm kid. Okay, like just going. Why do you think I can drink as much beer? When you grow up with rednecks, you learn how to drink your beer. Also, a lot more things I don't drink. But anyway, but that's what I'm trying to do here on the channel is say, guys, Mike S. Miller, he's a great artist. He can put together some fantastic stuff, especially for Shad. But they need people out there. They need people out there going, hey guys, over here. Hey guys, over here. You need that number one fan that gets other people involved. I can't be
Yeah,
the number one
absolutely.
fan for everybody. I'm one guy. But if I can inspire other people to go, oh crap, you're checking out this story? Well, let me check out wow, that's a really good story. And they go, hey guys,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
need
It's
we
the
need
modern
fans to
comic
do
shop.
it too.
right.
It is.
It's the way we used to be when we were kids. Going on Wednesday, you're there for 3 hours, just shooting the crap and freaking looking through the back issue bins and talking to the people that are there and recommending
Absolutely.
stuff.
Also,
Kiko
I don't know if you saw.
a drink with crazy memberships. Thank you so much, Kiko Mon. I appreciate you. Guys, I am reading the chat. I am attempting to do something slightly different tonight, which is where I have a conversation with our fantastic guests here. And then I read all of the super chats and the chats later. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. I'm trying.
Yeah.
He's just
Oh, I just want to make sure that you banned
that
Calvin
fine.
because he brought the thought bots. Have you banned Calvin yet? Because there's some thought bots here.
Oh,
And you
wait.
need to
Oh,
make sure
I
you
missed
get
the thought bots.
They're
I
up a
should
little
have some
ways. You
mods
just-
down there. Oh, I see the thought bots now. Okay, I'm banning them.
So he really wasn't.
I
paying
didn't ban
attention.
Calvin yet. Where's guys? Point out Calvin in the chat. We need to ban him. Mods, get on that.
Run, Calvin, run!
Duck and
Bob and
weave.
weave, Calvin. Bob
Serpentine.
And weave.
James Craig says, Mike Miller, it's a tall order to talk to creators about changing the culture at large. I don't want to be complacent with just a few thousand customers, but I'm not even there. Oh, I know I'm not saying it's not a tall order. I'm just saying that you have to have a vision. If your whole plan is just to sell your book, then it's like you're really just being self-serving.
Well,
you know,
I would even argue that's all
which
right.
and there's
to a
nothing
certain
wrong with being
degree.
self-serving in that
Yeah.
case. But I'm, when you're talking about the culture war and people are talking about the
I
culture
am
war,
Calvin.
I am Calvin.
it's like it can't just be self-serving. So
Right.
it's like,
yeah, fair enough. If you invoke the culture war moniker,
Which I do.
I understand
yeah.
what you're saying.
and
That's
I know,
why I don't.
I have a vision. My vision is for a multimedia company, and I believe that some way down the road I will get there. I don't know how, but that's my purpose. That's I'll get there eventually. And
Right there with you.
whatever on ramps, off ramps that takes. That's my vision. That's my long-term goal. So it's like, I do what I do now, and I'll take the paycheck, whatever it is, but I never lose sight of that goal. People without a vision are dead.
Mm-hmm.
To throw it to our guest, I was curious about like what areas do you see as far as like culture war? Do you see progress being made there? Do you think that there's areas that people should be like? Do you see basically spaces in the market and things like that, or do you have any thoughts to that effect?
I definitely think there's been progress as far as I've seen. I mean, this whole thing began with nothing. It began with this
Hmm.
basically just they'd won. They controlled the narrative, they controlled the culture, they controlled everything. They got the comics, the movies, the TV shows. But yeah, there's definitely been some a lot of progress. I would say a lot of progress, and we've seen a lot of support for this progress. And knowing more normies are just walking away. It's not even because everyone is just fighting the culture war. It's not even because everyone is suddenly awake to all this nonsense. It's because they tell bad stories. Their stories are
Yeah.
awful and boring, and that's kind of what's winning it for us. Just by the nature of that, they're awful at doing this stuff. That people are just walking away naturally, and when they walk away, they got to walk somewhere. I mean, they got to walk somewhere, and where they go is elsewhere. That could be anime,
What?
manga, or it could be indie comics.
How do you get
Yeah.
the normies? How do you, and admittedly, I was one for a lot of years, and I don't know what rabbit hole I fell down. I don't know, but how do you get the normies over here? Because there are a lot
Two
of people that are just like, well, the Marvel movies just aren't what they were. I'm like, oh, have you heard about that? No. And then they just, as soon as you say something that's like they didn't know that they didn't know about, right? Like two separations of they didn't know about, they just tune out and they go back to typing on the go. How do you get the normies here to new stories? Because a lot of people, if it's not fed to them like on the boob tube, they don't care.
Well, I mean, there's a couple ways to do that. One, when people are doing it now, it's just going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to, it's been years. But I mean, yeah, it's been years. But in the span of years that have gone by is, the long term things. Not really that much time has passed. It's like this whole movement, so indie movement, this anti-establishment movement is really still kind of beginning. It's not really a child anymore, but it has matured, but it's still kind of beginning still. And if you have like a lot of people talking to audiences and things, and you have saturation of indie works, especially really good ones, the ones that have good stories, good structure, good characters and things, then word of mouth will spread. I mean, people I like this book, and they'll tell their friends, and they might tell their family, and then they say, "Oh, look, check this out," and everything. Is it going to happen overnight? Obviously not, but it is growing. As far as I've seen, it is growing. It might not be like might fluctuate in terms of what people are willing to crowdfund or whatever, but it is growing. We have more creators, more books coming out, and of course, the people will find their favorites and things. They'll go back their next projects. The saturation, all that stuff. It's like it's the old school way of doing things, as far as I've seen. The old school way of doing things. Market is not necessarily any more of the marketing and ads, but if you're talking about just getting people to the indie sphere, well, then the people talking to audiences, people getting the message out, people getting books in front of people's faces, people saturating the market with books. It's just a thing. I mean, like Amazon actually allowed this for a while. They had to open up their I guess their ports to indie fiction, which anybody can just open up an account and upload fiction. And I got into that for a while. I tossed money at some people that are just random, and this looks cool. This looks good. 90% of it was just awful, absolutely abysmal, unreadable. But I did find some diamonds. I did find some diamonds in the rough. I do like very few, but the ones I did get, I love them. This one guy I found is I just buy everything he writes because it's so hardcore. But yeah, it's just availability, saturation, get the message out there, things like that. So I think the way to get normies into the indie sphere is happening right now. It's just going to take a little time.
Yeah.
Got to get more books out there. Got to get more attention out there.
Well, one thing I've noticed is that people are, especially with Netflix and whatnot, because it really has been about 10 years that there's even been I would say, tangible culture, alternative culture, not just as far as like an independent media type thing, but a tangible something going on with people producing something that's explicitly outside the mainstream for cultural or ideological reasons. And, in that same time, a lot of changes have happened within the legacy media, and you have I would say is sort of like the mainstream media of the past being strip mined to a certain degree, not just with new properties. I know everybody talks about that, but also with, I mean, you look at like Netflix, people binge old series
Mhm.
like a couple of times frequently. You know, I've probably watched all of Futurama a couple times.
It's called going
And
back to the well.
yeah, exactly. And so I think that there's a lot of people, not only because those license agreements are now ending and getting much more expensive, uh, but I think that people are also kind of burning out on that. And so I think it's good that that indies are creating now, because people are still going to have that kind of binge mindset. And we talked a little bit about this last week as well,
I've
kind
always
of requiring
had a
patience.
problem. Once I got out of high school and moved in with my wife, who was then my girlfriend, my pregnant girlfriend, but as I started getting older, I always had a problem going back to the well. And there are very few things that I like to revisit now, because I'm kind of one of those like, well, I've already seen that story. I want to see something
Yeah, like
different.
3 or 5 times.
As soon as I saw Mike's face, I was like,
not
"Here it
going there."
comes."
I knew what I did inviting Mike here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, you always need to have someone in your life who will humble the absolute shit out of you. I like to call him Mark. But no, but as I've gotten older, it's really hard for me, even stories that I think are like, I was just talking with one of my best friends before, who's actually, side note here, we're going to start producing music for A Drink with Crazy. He's one of my old band members. So
Nice.
that was actually the initial call. And I'm gushing over Infinity War with him. And we're talking about just how good we thought Infinity War was, because I'm sure that there are problems with that movie, and maybe I don't want to find them, but I love that movie. And I say that, man, I would watch that movie every day of the week. And I think to myself, and I'm like, I say all the time I'd watch that movie every day of the week, but man, I haven't seen that movie in several years.
Yeah.
I just don't have a want to want to go back to see something that I've already seen. And I'm kind of starving to just see something new. And I wonder to myself, how weird am I in society for that? Are there other people out there who are looking for the new, or do they want to keep going back to the well? And how many times will people
Everybody
go back
wants
to the
new
well?
stuff. Everybody wants new stuff. I'll watch stuff that I haven't seen before. So here's the thing: as an artist, I can put something on I've seen before and not pay attention to it, or not have to look at it because I've seen it. I'll watch Gladiator 400,000 times. That's my favorite movie, and I'll just listen to the music or whatever. But it's like it's playing in my mind while I'm drawing because I've seen it before. But with new stuff, I mean, unless it's like a sitcom or something where it's always the same set over and over and over again, you're just listening to the dialogue. With new, like, high quality stuff, particularly, that's why I don't watch enough anime, because I have to pay attention to what's going on, right? And so that's kind of the thing for me as an artist. If I don't have, I don't know, that's just for me. Yeah,
I get it. Well, that's how I am with music. Is like there's music I can kind of put on in the background and just listen to, and just I'm doing my thing. The music's on in the background. Like I just it's time to clean the house with the kids. I put music on. If a song comes on, all of a sudden it piques my interest. Like I will stop whatever I am doing and I'll just sit down and I just zone in on it.
But there's the operative word that is most important in what you just said. If. It's not a matter of it's there for you to find. It's if it crosses your path. And that's where the breakdown is. The question that you had, how can we get more normies on the independent media that all of us are producing? You can't, to a certain extent, if you keep having the mindset of normies and others. They have this thing about the established protocols that are out there because they're easy to access. It's more like, if we keep going, we're the rebel counterculture, thing that only goes so far. And the people that are in the middle of the situation that don't want to be part of those arguments aren't going to move to our side
Well,
because
it's not
we're
even a
on
matter
one
of
side or the other.
yeah, it's not even a matter of want. It's like I think so many people they hear things and they just go, I don't
Mhm.
understand that. I don't like that. It's
Yeah.
foreign to me.
So really,
And-
the unfortunate truth is that the best and easiest way to get eyes on a project is blow tons of money on marketing.
Well,
Well-
I think it's also a matter of distribution. I think that
Yeah.
there have been significant problems in the last decade with centralization of eyes, or just users in general onto media, on social media primarily. And although a few things have gone viral, a lot of that has been curbed and turned into marketing, to try and make these companies that are almost all operating at a loss money
Mhm.
in some
Yeah.
way. And so, and you wonder why is it that, I mean, why does Google seem to not care that YouTube perpetually operates at a significant loss? It's because they don't care. It's
Mhm.
not to make money,
Right.
and
Well, they're an ad
so
machine. I mean, YouTube itself might operate at a loss, but they obviously make money for somebody somewhere.
well, they certainly,
It's
yeah,
more
they
about
definitely
the eye
take money.
control.
Yeah, to me, I think it's more about control. So until you break some of those things, I mean, there's still like marketing if you're inside this group and you pay this amount, but you can't just like, I can't go even with the same number of dollars and probably get the same treatment as another mainstream entity because
No, you
you don't
can't. That's the
have,
whole point.
yeah, because
You're talking about
like,
with Google ads?
well, no, not necessarily with Google ads specifically. Well, actually, this is also something that may be uh, something they've been cheating people on. But let's say that it is exactly the same for Google ads. But the point is that with situations like YouTube, there's certain advertisers that only get run on certain videos, right? And it's not just because they paid them, it's because they have agreements at a higher level between those companies.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, of course.
But my point is that you
Well,
either need like
That's how
I guess
YouTube ads,
a
ads
lot of
work, though.
money.
You can target I could just advertise on Royce's channel if I wanted to.
Mhm.
It's very, very targeted advertising for
Right.
using Google AdSense.
Yes, but
But
I
Mike
guess,
would never do that because he has to.
I'm here
absolutely-
already, and I have
well, I was
nothing
going
to
to say he's
sell.
already getting free advertising.
I know, and so
But
Lit Dev, you've been a little quiet during this conversation.
Yeah, we kind of
Do
took over
you-
a little bit.
sorry.
Well, we do that, but what do you think about all of this with between advertising and rising up new media and all that? Where are your thoughts on all this?
Well, in terms of advertising, I mean, you can do that. I mean, yeah, I think like this probably the ads and everything. But well, some people have tried that, didn't really give them any new backers or anything like that. But I have seen people try and place ads on YouTube and Twitter, and I have seen them. I was like, there comes a YouTube ad, and I've seen the ad for someone's crowdfunded comic book. And I thought that was pretty cool. So that is a way that I've seen that can get comic books in front of the eyes of some rando on YouTube just scrolling through cat videos or something like that. So that is a way to do it. So that is a way to get the
Oh,
eyes.
hey, look, there's
on
a
it.
targeted ad.
There we go. There we go.
I don't know. It just,
Yeah, but
I-
it's not just random. I mean, literally, I used to target advertising to Ethan's channel, to Comic Storian. It's like you comic channels with comic fans. That's where I would only advertise directly to those sites.
Right. That's
and then-
what targeted advertising is.
Yeah.
And if you got ads on YouTube or something like that, it might get in front of the eyes of someone new. They're not really interested in comic books, but they see it. It gets locked in. They're not going to give you any money. But it's
That's
locked in their
broad
mind.
advertising.
Yeah,
and
the
that's
broad
a lot
advertising
more
style like that.
expensive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
But they will see it. It'll get locked in their mind, and they might they'll log it away, and then later on they might recognize some of that. So that is a way. Broad advertising is a way to bring people in who are not already in.
Right.
They will be able to see it. How much value you place in someone seeing your stuff but not giving you anything for it, it's up to you. But if you wanted to see, like, you get people to see
depends
things
on the
where they don't want to
content.
go. Yeah,
Mhm.
it really depends. They might like it. Who knows? They might like it. You know, you put enough, primal stuff in there, like fan service. Like, oh, what is this? That's how anime does a lot. They could use some
It
pretty anime
depends on
girls,
the-
whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's
and-
for selling stuff. I think YouTube advertising is actually best served trying to grow channels. Like,
True.
you
Mhm.
give somebody a reason to come click on your video instead of the video they're watching.
Yeah, give an hour-long video like what PragerU does, and just have someone hate you. Why would you do this? I didn't.
There's no
I
such
like
thing
you,
as
PragerU.
bad advertising.
yeah, it's
Well, I don't know.
In terms of media, though,
I don't think there's any. What's the alternative? There's no such thing as bad publicity.
yeah,
Yeah, but
That's
there
what
is
it
such
is.
a thing as bad advertising. I'm sorry. When they got
not
Brie
in this
Larson to
world.
do the taco freaking commercial, do you guys remember that?
Yeah. And it
Drop
got
the
talked
taco,
about.
and we're just like, that's some racist shit, bitch.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. In this day and age, there's so many people addicted
Mike.
to rage bitching that
Mm.
even bad advertising will get you attention because someone will be morally offended by it and have to say something. And then everybody talks about it. And then it's in everyone's ear. That's free advertising. You piss somebody off that's got a big enough fan base, and you're free advertising right there just by them.
That's my
complaining.
goal for this next week.
Let's say shadow ban you. Then you're gone. Just kind of
Yeah, well, there's
evaporate.
that.
Yeah. Well, I actually have a question about that. See, I have traditionally prescribed to that theory, but I think that there's kind of there may be a weakness to that with, like specifically culture.
Toxic?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I
Toxic,
couldn't
you're not
remember
allowed.
exactly how to pronounce that.
Well said,
Um,
Toxic.
Toxic.
But
just you're here. I need you here. Okay, you good? Like,
Oh.
you're here. Let's go here. Toxic.
Let him soar through the sky.
No. No. No.
no.
Because when Toxic, dude, you don't know Toxic like I do. That dude, if you let him, he will take it to another level,
Mhm.
and then you will die.
He's
Run
a
with
Trauma
it,
Films
Toxic.
fan, so he's got good
Run
taste.
with it.
No, but the thing I was saying is that I sometimes think that some of this, kind of like either rage bait or like the negative engagement can. One of my things that I'm wondering about is not as good for growing outside of the culture war areas, because part of what we're wanting to do is break outside. And so like Rippaverse for the ISOM #1, it obviously broke out of the traditional comic sales clientele or market, whatever you'd say. And it got into protest buying, right?
Yeah.
But which is good because you definitely need money in these projects in order to keep them going. That's good. But that doesn't necessarily translate to fans that actually will then talk about things.
No.
So that's one thing that I've
Well, it
do
does
feel
both.
thinking
to
about.
go on with what you're saying, Richard. The Rippaverse stuff. Once kind of the campaign closed, and he said, "Okay, we're going to get into fulfillment here soon." The enthusiasm, I mean, it really started just declining.
That
Oh.
is an illusion.
Well,
Oh,
I would say
okay.
I think after a campaign ends, I think that's probably part of the ebb and flow
Right.
of
Yep.
things to a certain degree. But I would also say that if you charted out, like if you took dollar amounts between campaigns, and you looked at like excitement or like,
What did
how
they
many
end
fan
up
channels and
hitting?
everything else.
I'm
What did they end
specifically
up
just
making
going
as
off of
the
how,
final fund goal?
however videos on like my channel have done with the Rippaverse stuff
Mm.
over the course of time. obviously that first one skyrocketed. It is still the best video on the channel in terms of views, watch time, all that stuff, right? And then after that, it just kind of goes up and down, and it does seem to track going up and down with the interest. But like my last Rippa video that I did, really, it didn't draw, and it not a good or a bad thing. I'm still gonna talk about, obviously ISOM number 2 when it comes out, when that gets ready to come out. I'm still gonna talk about the Clownfish TV Crimson Wren when that comes, because I've got that book coming. And I don't really care about the views in that sense, but I'm just from a really, really minuscule creator like on YouTube, because I mean, yes, my channel has more subscribers than I thought it could have over the summer, but at the same time too, 1,600 subscribers in the grand scheme of these guys that have like millions of subscribers, and I'm just watching what my channel is doing with it. And I know some other creators who are kind of doing the same thing I was doing. They were noticing the same thing as far as the engagement rates, as the Rippaverse, the initial spike, and then as it just kind of started to dive off. And now
It's just not as hot. It's not a campaign. It's not a hot topic.
Right, exactly. That's
do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be as hot for ISOM 2? I don't think it's going
on
to be.
ISOM 2.
I think if it's, I think ISOM 2, when he announces it, this is my prediction, will be at best have 75% of the hype that ISOM 1 had. At best.
Well, I think, but that's also at a starting point. You know what I mean? Because
that's the business roller coaster.
Well,
yeah.
Actually, if you think about it, a lot of the heat and a lot of the controversy comes from the haters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when he does launch ISOM 2, what are you going to get? You're going to get the flood of,
that's what I'm talking about.
This is going to do as well as ISOM 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to,
I didn't take that into effect. So you could actually see, the people who come to defend him, and then you get the defense buyers.
Yep.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not factoring in the culture war aspect into a lot of the way that, because believe it or not, the culture war is actually really good for whatever's left of capitalism.
Well, it's
got a lot of
actual
heat for
market.
That.
It can be.
Hold on, wait. What was that, Lit Dev?
Rippa got a lot of heat for that. Like, he got a lot of heat for the fact that, I mean, his comic didn't run on culture war. It was like, this is my comic book, here's the ethics of my business. But a lot of the haters are like, oh, you just got a lot of money, a lot of sales because people want to, because you talk about the culture war and they want to do protest buying, something like that. It's not really because it's a good book. You got a lot of heat for that. But the thing is,
that's true, and it's not bad.
But the thing is, he's being demonized for doing something that they celebrate DC and Marvel for doing. Going into politics.
That's because they're hypocrites.
But and he never, he never went the political route. He never did any of that, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, he was an anti-woke." Rippa never said he was an anti-woke or non-woke comic at all. That's something that Fox News put into, because Fox News picked him up, and that was a Fox News talking point. That was not an Eric July talking point at all. And I am so absolutely sick of hearing the term woke at this point. I'm like, I try to keep it out of my titles, which is stupid of me as a YouTuber. I should put it in every title of my video, even if it has nothing to do with it. But I can't stand it. And I'm just like, I do a lot of things that I probably do a lot of things that are counter to building my channel, but I just can't
embrace it.
I don't.
Yeah. Once upon a time, you could double the views of any video just by putting SJW in the title.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I got 2 million on one.
I know. I just want to see a time where the stories that are coming out remind me of the stories that I grew up with. And I've been saying this for the last few weeks. on my channel because I really, really feel it in my soul. Sir, I see you over there.
But one thing that has happened
Who, me?
though, and the reason why there probably is this hunger for better stories and new constant novelty, constant new stuff, is because a lot of modern day stuff is just disposable media.
Mm.
Like it's just fast food stories. Just you
Mhm.
watch it. Here's a bunch of flashy effects and some action here,
That
and then there's no sustenance. It's like empty calories. There's nothing there. Like you want to go back to it, but I've already seen all the good stuff in there. I've already seen the action. I've already seen all the goodies. That's it. There's no nutrition there.
That's the point.
I'm
I was
stealing
trying to
that
make
from you.
last.
I'm
or
stealing
was
it.
it Wednesday? That's the point I was trying to make
Thursday.
Wednesday with like Andor, right?
Yeah.
It's like a well done, good. It's the kind of and Treasure Planet, right? That's the
Yeah,
idea.
haha,
You make
whoa.
something good.
No, we're not
You
comparing
make
Treasure
something
Planet to anything Disney, Star Wars.
Shut up.
Disney was still
So
semi-competent.
the point is that you do something good, and even if it doesn't like strike well and make $1 bazillion right when it comes out, it'll have legs forever. People will still go back decades later to watch Treasure Planet. And I think Andor, nobody's gonna go back and watch Boba Fett.
Correct.
Nobody's gonna go back and watch freaking Mandalorian even because Mandalorian was not as good as everybody said. They just it was like that cracker, it
was all fan service.
the
It was
best cracker
100%
I've
fan
had.
service.
That was
It
fine.
100%
Mandalorian could have been something
Mandalorian
nutritious,
was
but it wasn't.
fine.
It's a
It
Dorito
wasn't.
chip.
a good word.
Mandalorian is fast food. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't go over there and watch it again. Like it's just you watch it for the novelty, and then there's no reason to go back over.
But-
it.
But how many people go back to fast food every single day?
This is why
Because
a lot of
it's
the industry is
cheap
built on it.
and easy.
Uh-huh.
It's cheap and easy. It's easy to make. It's quick. It's there's always
it is.
something new. So that's why it's so hypnotizing to watch these
Yes.
things that are empty and meaningless. It's why there's so
and-
much of it now.
And good food always gets the bad connotation of being more expensive because good food you have to prepare yourself usually. It's something my wife and I learned years ago. Guess what? Good food doesn't actually cost more than bad food. You just have to get rid of the bad food out of your life and take time to prepare the good food for yourself. Most people aren't going to do that. Most people aren't going to take the time
Well,
to learn and want to eat the better food, and it's just cheaper and easier to keep the bad food in your life.
Correct.
Well, one thing that I think you commented on is that with the fast food media, there's always something new,
I'm
and
calling
I
it that.
think
I love that, Lit Devil.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
stealing that from you. I'm not even going to credit you. I'm just stealing it. It's fine.
Fantastic.
yeah, I mean, I think that's really good.
Dude,
know.
fast food media. That's what we've had for the last 7 years. It's
Oh, we
perfect.
still have it.
empty and unnutritious, but it's easy and available.
We've
Have
always
you
and-
come
and
up
it's
with that
also
before?
new is the
I
thing.
think so, a
Because there's
long
always
time ago,
something new
yeah.
coming out, and I
Yeah.
think that might be where things kind of start to shake off on the wheels. Is that I don't think that there's a lot of people who are very concerned about quality these days on what they're consuming media wise, but I do think that after a while,
Entertainment,
They-
not quality.
yeah, I think that they will get. It's
Uh-oh.
kind of like with Taco Bell, they're always coming out with some new thing there for a while. It's like the Doritos, like Dorito taco,
The
whatever.
Frankenstein creation.
Yeah, exactly. Some kind of unbelievable thing, but then
I-
everybody's like, it's just different configurations of tortillas, cheese that allegedly
It's-
cheese that's not, and
It's-
then
yeah.
cat food and beans. It's
Gum and cheese.
yeah, it's like-
it's terrible. I
Yeah,
used to
it's
eat it.
awful.
I used to, and then no.
I
By
don't-
the way,
is anyone here
everybody in
old
the
enough
chat
to
is
remember
calling
when-
Calvin Gulata a bot right now, and I love it. I just want to point that out. Mike, go on.
Lit Dev, I don't know how old you are, but I'm old enough to remember when Taco Bell used to use good ground beef. Does anyone?
I might
Yeah.
have been a kid. I mean,
Yep, I'm.
Yeah,
I'm
I
also
walked
old enough.
in. It was, and then they switched to the value menu, which by the way got them out of bankruptcy.
Yeah.
But they couldn't afford the good
After
meat
McDonald's
with the value
started their
menu.
99-cent menu.
Yeah,
who remembers?
but-
Who remembers 99-cent Big Mac Mondays? Anybody?
I don't, but I
But
have to
the
defend
value
the
menu-
honor of
no,
Taco
my
Bueno.
point was because you brought up the cat food thing. You brought up the cat food thing. when I went for the first time and they served me that new meat, I literally spit it out. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I went and complained. I'm like, this isn't the and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, we've
Yeah, 'cause
always
they
had this
don't.
meat. I'm like, I eat here 3 times a week. I know you're
It's made for
You
Well,
channel
yeah.
Gordon Ramsay, you know.
It's donkey. It's raw.
You start
Roll
screaming.
So when I was 25, 26, started having really bad gut issues and just like started getting sick real bad. Not going to describe it here. Not a fun thing. Got sick so bad one time, had to call into work. I'm not the type of, I don't call into work for almost anything. Unless I'm so sick I can't stand up, I don't call into work. I called into work this one day. It was not a good time. And I almost wanted to go to the hospital. I don't go to the doctor, period. I was raised by no, unless it's broken or bleeding, you don't go to the doctor. That's just where I'm at.
Yep.
But when I was 26, I was having these really bad gut issues and I just couldn't figure it out. I got really sick one time and I said, okay, I need to figure out what's going on. And if I went to the doctor, I know what he was going to say. The doctor was going to say, here's a baggie full of pills. I'm 26. There's no way I'm going on a baggie full of pills at 26 years old. No, that's not happening. The second option, if I refuse that one, we'll go see a nutritionist. Well, it just so happened that I dieted with my wife to support her earlier that year, felt really good about it. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I ended up changing my diet. I went all the way because I was really afraid to actually eat certain foods. And I found out it wasn't meat that was screwing with me because I went vegetarian for 3 months, so eggs, potatoes, my wife is a fantastic chef. So she makes these actually really, really good fried potato street tacos. But I found out through almost a year of testing, it wasn't meat that was making me sick. It was highly processed meat.
It's bad.
I can go to a butcher down the street in the town that I live in now and get meat that's probably been dead for 2 days and eat that and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I
meat's
can't
good
eat
for you.
McDonald's. I will
Especially if you're a
start
man.
puking.
McDonald's isn't meat, bro.
Men need
It's not. No, it's not. That's my point,
Just
though.
say it's
No,
not
Daniel,
cow.
you meant that as a joke, but that's entirely
No,
my
I'm
point.
dead serious.
It's not.
McDonald's actually responded to a tweet in which I said McDonald's is trash. That's how often I talk about it.
It's not. It's not. Whatever they are putting, whatever they are serving you, it's not good. And I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because I grew up, because my parents always went to meat lockers and stuff like that. And I grew up on farm raised beef and we always got meat from the farmers that we knew.
Mhm.
Maybe it's because of that. Maybe it's because I'm a bitch. I don't know. Who knows? Mike would probably agree with the
Mike's
second point,
like,
right? I
"Uh-huh."
see him smiling down there. But whatever they're doing to the food, guys, I'm telling you, it's not good. Call me Alex Jones. It's the frogs. They're turning gay in the water.
They
But,
turn
like,
the men
yeah,
gay.
yeah, the food's turning the
Boys,
frogs
well,
gay.
we don't
Like,
talk about it.
but like
Alex Jones talks
seriously,
about how the meat that they clone the cows.
The clone the cow. The
Like,
globalists.
dude.
The globalists clone the cows.
dude, I'm telling you, I can't. It is a noticeable difference.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time I ate at McDonald's, honestly. Taco Bell,
I
I'll
can't
do.
either.
McDonald's,
I can't do any of it.
I am so spoiled. There's a legit Mexican restaurant that opened up in my area, and I get real home cooked style, like real ingredients Mexican now. It's amazing.
I'm in San Diego, man. I can't throw a dead cat without hitting a great Mexican
Dude,
place.
Hell yeah.
I used to live in Colorado. Same thing as Mike. You couldn't throw a dead cat without hitting a good place that had Mexican
That's
food.
the thing I loved about living in Texas.
I live in Iowa now.
Now that you're mentioning all the detriment that processed food has on you, fast food
Mhm.
has on you. It's my theory that fast food media does the same thing. It's bad for you. It's just because there's no substance there. It's completely shallow and unnutritious, and it kind of spoils you for certain things that are not important. And I would definitely say that always go with something substantial rather than go with fast food media. I think it's bad for you. Like,
This is a very, very good point. This is why I won't let my children watch poorly written or animated anime.
I mean, Turning Red, for example, bad for you. Very, very bad for you. Do not let your
Okay.
kids watch Turning Red.
So my wife and I have talked about that. Actually, my wife and I have talked about Turning Red, and this was a deep like parent conversation. And my wife came from a very different. My wife didn't necessarily come from a good upbringing. And in the conversation, I was like, but babe, all of this stuff and like these messages that they're trying to send. And she goes, yeah, why do you think I'm here as their mother? She goes, they can try to push whatever message they want to, but I'm telling you right now, there's some things in there that I experienced when I was a little girl. I won't let their bad message get to our kids. And I went, okay.
I don't know
Because
what Turning
my
Red
wife-
is. Somebody give me the lore.
Turning Red is essentially it's a feminist movie that's trying to make it
Terribly
it's-
written. It's awful.
it is. And there's some really gnarly stuff into it, especially if you look at it the way that I came at it. For sure. And then my wife and I was like, babe, this movie, and she goes, look, here's where I'm at. And I have to remember, my wife, she came from a very different place than I came from. And I was like, but babe, what about all these messages? She goes, no. She goes, I won't let our kids, because that's why I'm there and I'm watching the movie with our kids, because I'm going to make sure that the message that our kids need to hear is what's there.
Okay, Jeff, can you tell me what it's about? Because clearly Royce can't.
It's about a girl essentially turning into Red Panda, which is a clear stand-in for the period. And we get the whole thing with the mom getting the pads and being a helicopter parent, all kinds of stuff. Of course, like a lot of modern day media, it is the parent, the mom, the mentor who learns the lesson, and not really the kid very much.
Yeah.
At the end, she goes. At the
wise
end,
one.
like there's a part where she turns into a panda and starts whoring herself out. Like, oh, we're gonna get some money by taking pictures. You can take a picture with the panda. You can ride the panda. You can do all this stuff like that with the girl as a panda, and she's whoring herself out for boys and everything to get money to go to a concert. Completely cringe. And then at the end of the movie, what's the lesson the mom learns? My panda, my choice, mom, and that's the lesson. The mom learned. That's literally a line from the movie, and it's completely awful. It's awful, awful, awful. It's not even this badly written. It is terrible, terrible messaging.
And
It's okay, Royce. My wife likes bad movies too.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Mike. It's not that my wife likes bad movies. My wife sees that her children get enjoyment out of certain movies. My wife watches them and she goes, you know what? I'm not going to let Disney dictate the message. And my wife says, no, I as the parent am going to dictate the message. And my wife takes what Disney tried to do, which was twist my kids into their bullshit. And my wife says, they're my kids. And she twists it back.
Well, that's what happens. That's the main defense. It's how Turning Red maintains traction. Is because all the guys can see that, oh, this is awful. They're teaching awful lessons. And then the girls always pull the girl card. Like, you're a man. What do you know about it?
but that's not what that is not what my wife did, though. That's not what my wife did.
That's all the defenses I see on Turning Red. Like, if you're a man, you can't have any opinion on Turning Red. It is impossible. You can't. You're not allowed.
No. So here's the thing is because my wife actually saw a lot of the points.
Opinion I want.
My wife saw a lot of the points that I saw in the movie. And she goes, no. And she goes, I totally see. She goes, and here's the thing. Those moments, especially when they're like, oh, the party and like take pictures with the panda, and ride the panda around. And she's like, you know what? Our kids, because we keep our kids away from certain things, that message they were trying to show, my kids don't even know about because my kids aren't in public schools. So they don't get corrupted by that crap. Right. And so, but in the other instances where a young girl is going through changes and not knowing how to deal with it and trying to struggle with her mother, that opened up a conversation with my wife where my oldest daughter is starting to go through some changes and starting to get more emotional. And my wife was able to say, hey, my wife blocks out their crap messaging and uses that door. Again, we're using Disney wants to use their animation against parents, and my wife is smart enough to use Disney against Disney and become and put the message that we want to in our kids. And I respect my wife for that. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is, I guess a movie is only as bad as you allow your children to see it. And if your children see a movie and it's bad and you correct that crap and say, or you point out that it's bad, or you just, because my children are too young to really dive
I
into.
show my kids Porky's and then explain to them all the bad parts.
I'm not
Look,
talking about
son.
Porky's. We're talking about Turning Red, though. I mean, we're talking about animated
Porky.
film here. Obviously, age appropriate movies.
Look, all right,
I hate it when he does this. I just, Mike, why do you have to just, like, I'm like, my wife is awesome. I'm doting on my wife. And then here comes
Porky.
Mike, and he's just like, sweep kick.
What about
And I'm just
Porky?
like,
Look, toddler son, when that man puts his dick through the hole in front of the shop full of ladies, that's a no-no. Okay.
Say, wait,
oh, God. Why? You know what?
See, the reason why she's barking like a dog.
No.
Because her nickname is
And we're going to start going to super chats. Oh, my
Chat time.
God. Good sirs. What did you do? But before we go to super chats, because I think I actually dipped out for this conversation because my house was potentially exploding. But
Yay!
I do have to say, no, my house is not exploding. Don't cheer. It's not exploding now. But Literature Devil, good sir, you happen to have a comic book that you're releasing that you're working on called Doc Alpha, Dead Man's Lullaby. And I want you to just tell us, Doc Alpha, what's it about? What are you talking about? Where are we going with the story? How do we do?
I made this a prequel to my first comic book, which was Dr. Alpha Miracle Child, which people tend to like, so I've heard. And then, but this takes place 20 years before, so you don't have to actually read Dr. Alpha Miracle Child to understand this one, although it will enhance the experience. It was like Dr. Alpha was like in his more, I would say mid-20s, something like that. He hasn't been a supervillain for very long. So I wrote him as such, where in Miracle Child he's a little more methodical. Here I put a lot of that fire and vinegar in him because he's in his 20s now. So he's going to be doing a lot of fighting. But the storyline goes, he wakes up one day from vacation. Was he on vacation from? Well, I'll let you know later. But it's actually kind of hinted at in Miracle Child. But he wakes up, he's in a hotel, and then he wakes up naked in his hotel room. He has no idea what's going on. And he wakes up. Turns out that one of his former colleagues, another mad scientist named Dr. Cloner, injected him with a deadly virus, and he has no idea why. Why would, like, even supervillains, you don't just go after another superpowered supervillain for no reason. Like, there's usually a reason why a villain will go after another mad scientist. And he's like, so the mystery begins. But the thing is, he's been injected with this virus called the Lullaby virus. That is essentially supposed to be, he explains it as the perfect assassination weapon. It's supposed to, basically, the thing from Crank. It kind of kills your ability to make adrenaline. Eventually, you fall asleep. So the idea was, you fall asleep, you just pass out, and then you die. Your heart just stops. And so it's supposed to take place over a couple of weeks or so. But he gave him an accelerated version. So Dr. Alpha wakes up one morning, hour left to live, and that's it. So he's like, okay, you got an hour left to live. We're going to record your death. We're going to record your death, record you dying, so I can have it with me, have it for science and stuff. And take that, Dr. Alpha, getting like a revenge on you. And he has like, no idea why. So he goes on this crazy romp of action. He can't stop. He has to keep his adrenaline up through action, fighting, adrenaline, the adrenaline rushing things. He has to fight his way through cloner minions. He has to fight his way through superheroes all the way through. You find an unfolding mystery of there might be some strings going behind the scenes here, pulling Dr. Cloner. There's a manipulation going on here. There's secret agents. There's double agents, triple agents. There's secrets being revealed. All kinds of things. Things also that I'm kind of using this also as a world building thing. Dr. Alpha Miracle Child introduces to Dr. Alpha, the character. This one is going to be more about the world. So it's going to be more of a static main character formula with an evolving world around him. So the world around him is gonna be crazy and chaotic and ever evolving. You're gonna introduce to this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. Well, Dr. Alpha himself kind of remains static. So that's kind of what you want to do in this situation for the most part. So the whole thing is that he's trying to, like a meteor, just go after Dr. Cloner, try to track him down, try to ask him what's going on, what's the secrets behind why is this happening in the first place? Why'd you poison me? Why'd you go through all of this trouble to poison me? Because they were colleagues, they worked together.
Mhm.
If you know anything about Miracle Child,
That's a classic. That is a classic trope that I'm glad that you played upon. He's the best friends or the colleagues. I like that. That's such a great.
I do like playing with tropes. I do like getting the old kind of like cliches and then putting together. I like playing with cliches. They're my favorite toys, and so
And they should be for so many writers, and they're done so badly now.
yeah. I mean, people kind of stay away from cliches. Like, oh, they're done, they're dumb, they're bad. No, cliches are not bad. Tropes are not bad. They're there for a reason. Cliches are cliches for a reason. The only way to make them bad is to write them badly. That's kind of it.
Yeah, if something's written badly, it is.
Yeah, exactly. So I started off. I have different points. I've made it more like a video game esque. You go from one level to the next. Made as comically violent as possible. Like I have like Tugs back there. At one point, I think Dr. Alpha gets a hammer, hits Tug so hard on the bottom of the chin, his teeth fly to the top of his skull.
The scene that's passing right
yeah,
now.
right there. There it goes.
Yeah.
There it goes. I'm actually back there too as one of Cloner's minions, but I don't get killed because you don't kill the guy writing the paychecks. So
No, Tug's in the background with the hat. Tug is in the background with the hat.
He's also
Isn't
getting
that
hit with the hammer too.
Oh,
His teeth are
okay.
flying to the top of his head. Like,
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I thought it was
Dude,
a cool
I can't
Easter
believe
egg.
that. Oh, that's great. I would love to meet Tug one day. He's a super cool dude.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. We hang out a lot, and we kind of usually we haven't messaged in a while, but he's like, here's a page in my comic book, here's a page in my comic book, things like that. It's pretty cool. And then so if he proceeds from there, he goes down to the bottom of the. He starts off on like basically the top floor of the hotel, goes to the bottom to the lobby, fights his way there, old boy style. I took a lot of my favorite fight scenes, put in this book. It's kind of what happened. So there's like a hallway fight scene, old boy style. The elevator, it opens up old boy style. He opens up the elevator, all these bodies fall out and stuff like that. And then he goes to the kitchen, has a fight in the kitchen where Dr. Cloner's girlfriend is in there, who I kind of modeled off of the idea of a competent Harley Quinn. She's crazy, and this is her right here, actually.
So you mean like how Harley Quinn was originally in the Batman the Animated Series, where she was, originally
Competent.
created.
Yeah. Except I gave her reasons why she's really good at fighting. She's ex-CIA and ex-Special Forces, so she actually has a pedigree for fighting.
No, and I actually accept that. Like, I know a lot of people in like Uncharted 4. There was that chick that you got into a fight with Nathan Drake, and everybody's like, "Oh, she's woke," and I'm like, but it literally said she was ex-military. And I also happen to know one of my friends whose commanding officer was a female, and one of my friends lipped off to the commanding officer and got dropped.
Yeah,
because she pistol whipped him in the back of the neck, and he went down, and he goes, "You didn't talk to her like that again." And I'm like, "Yeah,
that's how it goes. That's how it goes."
But
in
like
the back of the head, so she sucker punched him.
Oh no, she got him in the neck. He mouthed off to her.
Got hit, pistol whipped in the back of the head.
No, she wasn't behind him. She was in front of him, and he said something sassy to her, and I don't remember what it was. This was years ago, and she went and took him down. And he goes, "Dude," he's like, "She didn't even hit me hard." He goes, "I've been hit harder by dudes." He's like, "But whatever she did, dude," he's like, "I went down." And it's again, I don't mind if you're going to write a female character who's good at fighting or who can drop a dude, give her a pedigree. Military tends to be a good pedigree because, well, militaries tend to, teach people how to put other people down.
Well, depends what part of the military.
I mean, well, sweetheart, it's the Navy. Don't you know that?
I wasn't going to say it.
Speaking Speaking of the Navy, this actually transfers into I have one non-serious question
of
and
the
one
Navy.
serious question. One is my first question is what where did the decision come in to make the dude naked for most of the comic? I'm just curious.
We actually changed that because it was a problem apparently. But well, first of all, he's Dr. Alpha, so if you leave him with pretty much anything, there's a chance he can use it to escape or something. So that's kind of why
Okay.
he was naked. I was like, there's no way. In fact, there's a scene or a panel in the beginning of the comic book where they're looking underneath the bed and I have an indention there. I'm wanting to have my colorist draw in like a transparent box to say like, oh, this was there but isn't anymore. There's going to have a Strategos on it, something like that. Just Strategos is something else that'll be added in here. This book is going to go into Dr. Alpha's past. Some potential reveals of things that are going to be revealed, but I'm not going to tell you what they mean, stuff like that. So a lot of seeds for future stories, things like that. But it's like either he found his emergency box of goodies and stuff like that. He keeps around just in case something bad happens. Stole his clothes, stole everything. Everything's gone.
Yeah.
And so because he knows that if he leaves anything with Dr. Alpha, there's a chance that he'll use it to escape or take revenge or something like that. In this book, he uses an ice bucket to help himself beat up all the bad guys. So, anything in Dr. Alpha's hands could be potentially very, very dangerous.
Like
And
Bullseye.
that's kind of where it is with his power level. Like he seems like he's really good at everything, is over top. But with what we see with Mulvion in the first one, and we see with Dr. Cloner in this one, he's actually a jack of all trades. He's good at a lot of things, but he's not really a master of anything. He's good at a lot of things, but not a master of
Pretty
anything.
standard.
What makes him so dangerous, what makes him one of the most dangerous villains in the galaxy, is his ability to strategize and outmaneuver people. And we'll go into that skill in this book when we go into his background, reveal what his background was before he turned evil.
Interesting. So I'm curious. Is this and that was I was just thinking about the Navy, and it naturally seemed to flow in that direction conversation wise.
Well, Naked Guy, yeah.
So aside from his background in the Navy, no, not really. But what are you going to go any farther into his past, or what do you like? What's your vision for the future of the series? It sounds like you have a lot planned out.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know you're still working
Right.
on this one. I don't want to whatever, but
Quite a few. This one's gonna be 2 volumes because I decided to crack the story in half, so it can be more pages, and I can still have that robust story without having to rush. Because I had the whole series, the whole Dead Man's Lullaby story complete, but towards the end, I really started to rush because I was getting towards the 100 pages or so, and or more, and I was like, this I can't afford this. I just can't afford this. So I decided, you know what, it's a hard decision, but I decided to crack it in half into 2 volumes. That way I can have the full story. Things don't feel so rushed. Because I felt that way with Miracle Child. Miracle Child is 112 pages. I felt like it needed like another few, maybe 10 or so, maybe 20, to get the whole feel of everything I want to put in there. So I didn't want to do that again. I wanted to make sure that there's room for everything, that I can add in everything I wanted to in this book. So unfortunately, the solution to this was to crack it in half. So volume 1, volume 2, but I don't plan any more volumes than that. Like it's two volumes for this story, for the Dead Man's Lullaby storyline, and then volume 3 is going to go right back to what happens after Miracle Child, and where he ended up there and stuff like that. So we're going to head there, but Dead Man's Lullaby is not only going to tell the story of Dead Man's Lullaby, of Dr. Alpha trying to get to Dr. Cloner, but also explores his past, and it also introduces a lot of characters and concepts and other things that are going to be important later, like the Oculix Limited company that sells super weapons and super villains, the agents who work there, Strategos, which is another entity, and then a mysterious behind the scenes entity that might be pulling the strings and things like that. So a lot of things to add, a lot of things
just
to explore.
like you said earlier, tropes are not a bad thing to pull from.
Yeah, I love them. I love tropes. I love cliches.
No, they're great. And when they're done well, they're done well. It's like it's any story. When any story or any trope is done well, it's done absolutely well. I will say this before we get into super chats and the from locals and YouTube, and then just the general questions of the audience. Does anybody have anything else they would like to ask while you have control of the show. Because at this point, guys, it's going to the chat and
where'd Dr. Alpha come from? Is it a play off Mr. A?
No, I just thought that Alpha would be really triggering to the weirdos because they
You gotta
that's
be
it.
Alpha.
That's kind of where I came from. It's like Dr.
I love
Alpha, and I linked into
love
the
it.
whole thing. So that's where it came off first. Kind of like how in the story of Frankenstein was not. I'm going to make a commentary on the ethics of science. It was, hey, we need to write a story contest because we're bored because the sun's out. The sun is literally out, being blocked by the smoke of a volcano. So I'm going to write a story. She wrote that story to get her husband and Lord Byron off her back because it kept bothering her about a story. Like, hey, we wrote a story yet, honey? No. Wrote a story yet, honey? No. Shut up. So she wrote Frankenstein as a short story. And then, of course, her husband, Percy Shelley, is like, hey, this is cool. Continue it. She's like, okay.
Also, your story break, does it did you massage it so that it completes an arc, or did you just find okay?
Oh yeah, it's definite, it's definitive. I have a clear visual cues and everything to show that this is another section of the story. This definitely feels like part 2.
Okay, cool. Those are my questions.
What's the
Brilliant.
what's the timeline on part 2? Is that, I mean, I know obviously you're going to try and probably wrap up fulfillment for the first part, but what's your theoretical schedule with everything?
Well, it looks like my artist Preston, he can put together about 5 pages per week, so hopefully we could give it that pace once we get funded. I wasn't sure.
595. 22,595. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're getting there. But
Yeah.
I was for a while I wasn't sure if we're going to get funded or not, and there's always that potential of failure. So I was like, okay, I got a lot of it done. But at one point, I just can't afford to put any more money into it if it's going to potentially fail. So I was like, okay, so we do have quite a bit of it done, a good chunk of it done, but no more is being created at the moment until I'm for sure we're funded. So after we're funded, I'm gonna get right back to work on it.
I love
that's-
that
Spoiler
chat.
alert.
That's half
I
true.
love my chat.
That's half true.
So he
Horizon
was in the
Talker,
Navy.
Well
Okay.
said.
So,
Like, he puts on pants.
all right. Well, literature devil, the cat's out of the bag. It's all over.
But he was special forces, so he was a SEAL or a
Oh.
SWIC.
Hey, with special forces.
Very
Yeah,
special.
say that to a SEAL.
If you guys have ever actually hung out with any Navy SEALs, they do a better gay voice than I do.
They do. Yes.
Never challenge a SEAL or a Marine to do anything better than you can, because they will rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
They're also
that's-
insane.
Phrasing?
Yeah, I got a buddy that was a SWIC. You know what the SWICs are?
No.
They're Navy Special Forces. They're the ones
Oh.
that the SEAls tap out on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy was a beast.
Yeah, no, those guys have the most deranged sense of humor, and just they're a riot. I love them. I absolutely do.
Yep.
I was here's the test. Here's the test, and I ask everybody to do this because I've done this, and then we're gonna go to the chats because I have to get to the chat because I promised we'd get to the chat. But before we do, if you ever anybody in the military, and I have asked, and this is just my one social experiment that I do. I ask friends, family, anybody who has seen combat overseas or done any of that, and I ask everybody, would you go back? Would you do it again? Every single Marine that I have ever asked that question, and some of them in a derogatory way that I can't actually say on YouTube, have said, hell yeah, I'd go back. And I'm like, you're 60. And they're like, I don't give a damn. I'd go back and blow some bleep, heads off of some people. And I'm just like,
Oh, racial slurs, Paul.
oh, dude.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the Marines are. And
They
they're
are
like,
the
I'm like,
racial slurs.
sir, you're 65. I don't care. I'd go back and I'm like, and they would. And
Yeah,
when you stare a Marine in the eye, dude, I'm telling you, I've asked Navy, Air Force, Army. I've asked the other branches. They go, man, I saw some stuff. They're just like, I'm out. I'm done. I did my stuff. Marines are like, I'll go back right now. I'll do it right now. If they call me, and I'm like, and they would, and they're terrifying when they say it. Mike?
Yeah, and some of them are crazy. My buddy Ben, he was in what was the first one? 91 Desert Storm.
Desert Storm. Was that
He
Desert Storm 1 or
collected
Desert
ears.
Storm 2? What?
He collected ears.
What a Chad
Not
move.
surprised.
I
I'm
had
like, okay, Ben, I thought you were crazy in high school.
a friend of mine might have tickled one of his squad mates' ears with a disembodied tongue. No
Oh,
comment.
gosh.
I'm telling you, he was actually in the army and he won't go back, but he opened up. I was just sitting there drinking with him. I hadn't seen him in years, and we're just sitting there talking. And about halfway through, I'm not drinking anymore. And I'm just like, and he's just talking. He's still drinking. And I'm like, and I literally, I was like, dude, are you good to talk about? Because I wasn't good with him telling me this stuff, dude. He was telling me some things that I'm like, holy crap. And he, no, dude, I'm good. I'm good to talk about it now. He's still drinking. And then he continues telling me. I'm just like, anyway, let's get on to a lighthearted subject.
If you did not have possession of a disembodied tongue, you would not try to tickle your bros with it. Like, come on. Obviously, you would. At least once.
Yeah, I would. I totally would.
Of course. I would.
I totally would. Well, it's like when you tell your buddies, like, bet you can't touch that electric fence without crying.
Yeah,
Straight up.
exactly.
Yeah, I can.
Exactly. I bet you can't pee on an electric fence. Come on.
While
I've
I
never
am
done
not-
that. I'm not
Give
stupid
you
enough
$1.
to do that. I've
Well, I have
I've been
never
in-
been in the military or anything. When I was 16, I hit my friend in the face with a dead cat.
Mm. I
When I was a
threw
freshman, I found a squirrel that had been
Oh,
run
no.
over so many times that it was perfectly flat. So I brought it into the gym and I threw it like a frisbee across the
I threw a kitten in
Oh, no.
on my cousin while he was in the shower.
Oh,
Probably
no.
the single most funny thing I've ever done.
Poor kid.
The poor kitten's mortified. How dare you?
The kitten was fine. My cousin was pissed. I might have also lit him on fire an hour earlier, and that's why he was in the shower, because he needed to cool off of his arm. Anyway,
Oh, I thought you meant the kitten.
no. I didn't light the kitten on fire. No, I lit my cousin on fire.
And it got
Accidentally.
dark again.
Yeah.
No. It was an accidental fire. We were. Anyway,
Did you ever have friends that would blow up
far as the
frogs
cops
with
know.
firecrackers?
Yeah.
do what?
Blow up frogs with firecrackers?
Yeah.
No. I actually,
knew a
me and my
few.
buddies always had a moral issue with that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. We did, however, shoot bottle rockets at each other. Anybody else have bottle rocket wars?
Oh yeah.
No,
Oh,
dude. I have a
dude.
bottle rocket story.
Okay, go. All right, come on, good sir.
So I was coming home one night. I don't remember why I was walking, but I was walking around the corner to go to my house, and there's my friend's dad's brand new Eddie Bauer Bronco, literally
Oh.
melting on the street. Tires melted, the whole thing's just, and all my friend and I think
no.
3 of my other friends, and the cops. Of course, the cops were there. Were just like standing against this fence, completely singed, burned, all this stuff. I walk up to my friend Freddie and I'm like, Freddie, what happened? He's like, colors. All I saw was colors. So I couldn't get anything out of him right away. But
was he
what happened
high,
was
or was he
they had
just
a
in
box
shock?
of he was in shock. They had a
Okay.
box of bottle rockets, and they were driving around the neighborhood shooting them out the window in my friend's dad's brand new Eddie Bauer Bronco.
Oh, no.
And they turned the corner on Meridian and they saw a cop. And Freddie, being the genius that he is, who had just lit in a bottle rocket, threw it
Hold
back
it.
in the car
oh,
where it lit the entire box of bottle rockets.
oh
In the
no!
cab with everybody inside. Nice.
Oh no! Nobody got hurt, right?
They got singed.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Singe just. Oh my god! I had a buddy of mine on 4th of July one time. I was in my '95 Chevy Blazer, which my grandfather gifted me, which is if you guys ever see me in in a flannel shirt, it's my grandfather's. My grandmother gave them to me when he died. They're in fact one of the only shirts that I wear that's not just a black t-shirt. But I'm in the 95 Chevy Blazer that my grandfather gave me, and my buddies are being jackasses, for lack of a better term. And I could not get them to stop throwing fireworks out of the car that day. Why I had fireworks in my car, I actually don't remember where the fireworks came from. And my buddy, being a smartass, takes just a small strip of, he stripped them off, takes small strips of black cats, and he goes to throw them out my window.
Your window's not
Well, my
open.
window just so happened to be very clean that day. Hits the window, lands in my crotch, and I go, ah! And I'm coming off. That was loud.
I have had way too many drinks for that. That's like his whole wall is falling down.
Definitely had a story.
Royce got way too excited for that story.
Whoa.
My kids are just like, Dad, what'd you do?
Yeah.
Well, Dad has to put the wall back
It's a
tomorrow.
good question.
Yeah.
So anyway, much like the reaction I just had, I was very, very mad.
Oh
How the hell
no.
did the nails get pushed into the wall? Anyway, let's go to super chats. I've been promising this for a while.
This is like revenge of the chat for not
Yeah.
going to them
Holy
soon
crap.
enough.
You know what? And here's the bad part. I've actually been waiting for that to happen. I've been like 3 streams away from it since the start of my channel. And
Congratulations.
thank you, good sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have successfully destroyed the wall. All right, so let's
my
go.
I saw that happen and my brain went, the ceiling just flushed, man. What the hell happened?
I didn't know what happened. It was just very, very loud in my mic monitoring.
This is what
It was
happens
just like-
after 3 glasses of scotch. I am not prepared for things to fall down. What
I'm-
the
It wasn't
fuck?
very eventful.
It was. Literature Devil, how is your first time on A Drink with Crazy?
That was fantastic.
Probably your only time on A Drink with Crazy.
Action
Please,
and
come
story,
back.
Yeah.
bottle rockets, people getting burned alive. It's been great.
Okay, he didn't die, but if you've ever lived in the country and you know what a burn barrel is,
Oh, yeah.
okay, you get it. And then when burn barrels go wrong, my cousin was much heavier than I back
Really?
in the day, and I lifted his ass off the ground with every not even touching him. It was just, he, and the 10-foot fireball flew out of that barrel though. And my cousin went, and
The
I
barrel have
watched
Taco Bell or something.
Well, we had to take out the trash because we need to do chores for my aunt, and so we took out the trash, and we were like, "Hey, let's have some fun. We'll take out the trash and have some fun at the same time." And so I put the trash in the burn barrel. There's a lot of plastic and stuff. I'm like, "Well, this isn't gonna burn," so I poured a little bit of gasoline on it. And I went to go light
Here's
it. My
your
cousin had
first
this
mistake.
stupid lighter, and it wouldn't light, and he knew the trick to light it because it was broken. And he comes around the corner and he's texting somebody. I know who he's texting. He's texting somebody. And hey, dude, I can't get the stuff lit. Like, would you light the thing? I was like, hey, but just so you know, and he doesn't remember me saying this, but I remember saying this. And I hand the lighter to him, like, hey, would you light this for me? I can't get it lit. But by the way, I poured gasoline on it, so watch out. And he goes, yeah, whatever. So he puts his phone back in his pocket and he goes to light it. He gets the lighter and goes, and it doesn't light. So he picks up the bag and he lights it, and all of the gasoline had drained down into the bottom.
Mhm.
So he lights the bag on fire, pushes it down, and it kind of like leans out, and he goes, oh, so he grabs it and then leans into it and pushes it, and you're boom, like a cannon shot. And it blasted him. It engulfs his entire arm, blasts him in the face. And my cousin had long, shaggy hair. So the right side of his face is on fire. He no longer has most of his right eyebrow anymore. And he is flying back out of the air. And I'm standing there going, how do I explain to my aunt that her son is dead? And then he hit the ground and he goes, ow! "No, my arm!" And I realized that he wasn't dead. At which point I started dying laughing because it was the
Hey,
funniest shit
hey,
I've ever
Mark,
seen.
you want to go to Dairy Queen? Dairy Queen.
An hour later, he goes, "Dude, my arm's on fire. I just need to go jump in the shower." I'm like, "Okay." And he had one of those shower curtains you couldn't see through, like peek in the door. And I'm holding one of his kittens. I'm like, "Hey, buddy, you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And then I looked at the cat, and I looked over, and I was like, I looked at the cat, and I looked over, and I was like, "I can make that." And I just went, "Yep." And the cat landed on his arm that had previously been in the fire.
Oh,
Trick shot.
I thought I was a jerk.
My cousin my cousin had like 80 pounds on me. I thought I was dead. He wouldn't even look at me after that. When he got out of the bathroom, I was sitting on the stairs. He just walks past me, and I'm just like, "Hey," and he goes, "Fuck you."
I could tell stories that would mortify you guys.
I can also, but I've been promising to get to the chat.
Yeah, we need to get.
I was gonna say when I came back, wow, that's a really long super chat.
Anyway, so let's go over to the locals side, ladies and gentlemen. The locals chat is actually where I am trying to culminate. I am thinking of in the future, because usually once these streams end, we do a little bit of an after show. Mike has been a part of them. He has seen me absolutely hammered on those ones too. Rob Rhymes got absolutely hammered and almost passed out. That was an absolutely fantastic. And Richard and Daniel pieced out.
Yeah, we bailed after an hour.
Yeah,
Dude. Yeah, you guys bailed after an hour. He and I were on for another hour. He was gone. But we have some really fun, we just sit there and we bullshit. I'm actually thinking of turning those after shows, which are into just locals only,
bonus
and
content.
people can just bonus content. People can come and we talk as normal. We talk as we normally would, because there's some things that are said there we definitely can't say on YouTube. And not to avoid YouTube censorship, but just to have fun. But I've been asking people, "Hey, what do I do on locals?" And people say, "Well, why don't you do like a pre-show or a post-show?" And I'm like, "Well, I could totally do that. We kind of already do that. I would just literally have to figure out how that works and click a button, and then we go over there and then we just chill and we hang out, and then the chat just gets to enjoy us talk about some gnarly stuff." So
That'll
go over
make
to
you
locals.
stay in the chair long enough to let me switch over to my tablet.
You should do that. Also, make sure you mute the audio on your computer and then switch to your tablet, because I made that
No,
mistake.
never.
I made that mistake. So go over to locals.com, a drink with crazy.locals.com.
Let's do it.
And join us over there. Become a member over there, because those, if I do the after shows and I actually switch over to that, those are going to be members only. And you guys get to go over there and just listen to us chat. You can send us, tips over there, talk with us, ask us questions afterwards, but it's going to be uncensored. It's going to be whatever we want to talk about. Mike making fun of me as much as he possibly can, which I feel like he would do more if YouTube wouldn't censor him here. So anyway, let's go over to locals. And over on locals, we have Kikomon for $5. He says, "Number one Iron Age YouTube daddy."
There it is. I was waiting for it.
Still not a fan of it. Still, nope. Kikomon for $2 says, "Chinese proverb, if dog's still barking, he not well cooked."
Well
heard that
said,
one.
Kikomon. What's the other one? Man who stands on toilet high on pot.
Yeah.
Kikomon for $5 again over on the local side says, "It is only when a mosquito lands on your testicle that you realize there is always a way to solve a problem without using violence."
How much has Kikomon had to drink? Kikomon, are you okay?
Dude, the guy drinks Jim Beam out of the bottle. I don't know. That is the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life.
I think we might need a wellness check on him at this point, though.
Tell me he's wrong, though.
No, that's absolutely correct. But still, That's
frequencies.
I can still use
It's 2 in a
violence.
row that he left for you.
You get lots of violence.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Lit Dev?
You can totally still use violence.
You could, but
There's
it
still
wouldn't
a
feel
work.
good.
It'll still work.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's always a way.
No pain, no gain. All right.
I've
Well said.
the hardest I've ever been hit there in my life was by my wife. Believe it or not, my fault. That one was my fault.
Tell a story about the hardest you've ever been. That's kind of a weird story to just
No. Oh God, sir.
We've already
no.
had Cream.
Save that for
Anyway.
the post show. Save it for
Yeah,
the
Oh my
locals.
God. Lit Dev, you're just as dirty as I am. I had higher hopes.
Yeah, you said to bring the degeneracy to your show, not on Shad's
That's
show.
true. You did. You did.
I
say
did.
that.
I did. Well,
I-
because I we need to keep Shad pure. Shad's a good dude.
I'm just
He-
honoring your request. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, you actually are, and I hate it. You come
We were
on for
discussing
$5.
the magic.
Do you believe in magic? Sorry,
Between a girl's
Um,
legs. Hey,
I love that song. I love that song so much.
I heard that.
I'm suddenly disappointed about something I had no idea was going on. There was a Michael Keaton solo Batman movie, and it's been canceled.
I thought it was going to be the Batman Beyond. I thought it
This
was
is what
going to
it
be a
was,
Bat.
yeah.
It was a
would
Batman
that be a
Beyond.
solo. I mean, I
No.
be
It
more like-
wasn't. He was going to play. Michael Keaton was going to play old Bruce Wayne. Who do you guys think that they would have cast as Terry McGinnis?
Tom Holland.
No, fuck that. No.
He's playing everyone else.
No.
Played everyone else.
I can see it.
No.
He's Nathan Drake. He's Zorro. Like he's everyone.
Yeah.
Solid choice.
No. Okay. Realist, like a good Terry McGinnis. Who's a good Terry McGinnis?
Chris Pratt.
Yeah. I actually like I actually love Batman Beyond. I love the cartoon. I thought it was fantastic.
I was very fond of it too.
I really because I like that Batman Beyond actually posited in a good way what happens when Bruce Wayne gets old. And guess what? Bruce Wayne still wants to be Batman, but he's also like 70 and also can't be Batman anymore, but he still wants to be. So what does he do? He grooms another Batman. He makes another Batman.
There he goes, a grooming again.
Well, Batman in what was the series by Alex Ross? The when he did the older heroes.
Oh,
Yeah, that was when Batman was older, like 67 years older, something like that, and he had the drones, the bat drones
Kingdom
Yeah.
Come.
controlling the city.
Oh God,
Kingdom
what
Come,
was that? Kingdom Come. Yeah.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really personally do love the
Harvard
Batman
P
Beyond.
suggests Brie Larson for
I think she'd be great in any role.
my only problem with Batman Beyond was that Batman was such a control freak. I couldn't see him being willing to let go of the mantle.
But I think that was part of the point, is that I did get the feeling, even as a kid, that Bruce Wayne still wanted to be Batman, but couldn't, and was trying to kind of.
Hey, go Elliot Page.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, no.
Another good choice.
Okay, are there any serious actually, here's the question. Are there any serious actors who I guess would be younger who we think could actually be Terry McGinnis today?
No,
No, I don't
Yeah.
really. I feel like there's. I think it was
I don't
Critical
think-
Drinker talked about like Tom Cruise basically being the last movie
Mhm.
star. I can't remember if it
Might
was
be.
Critical Drinker, but I think he's
No,
he's
you're
very
right. Yeah, it
correct.
was him. Yeah.
There's really not any movie stars anymore.
Mm-mm.
Well,
what
like
was the
Chris
guy
Pratt
who
is
played
movie
the guy
star,
who
and I
played
won't hear
Falcon?
I mean,
the guy who
he's
played
close.
Falcon,
I'd
he
say he's
came out.
close.
I'm sorry.
What?
What was it?
What did you guys just say?
I said Chris Pratt is a movie star, and I won't hear anyone say anything against it.
I mean,
He-
I think
he
that he's
is
probably the
close.
closest one, but
No,
I,
I
don't think
would
there's-
say the closest one's probably Henry Cavill.
No way.
What?
No.
What are you talking about? Robert Downey Jr.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing that people don't understand about Henry Cavill is that when Henry Cavill shows up on screen, absolutely, but women's ovaries scream. So he goes this. Henry Cavill has gotten many a boyfriend lucky and many a husband lucky. Anyway,
That doesn't make him a movie star, though.
it makes him a star.
Just makes him good.
Yeah,
looking.
I mean,
some
I agree
eye
that they're still
candy.
stars.
No, I
But-
think they're still stars, but not to the level that there used to be.
Yeah, and I actually think that
No,
Chris
but
Pratt
Robert
is
Downey
probably a
Jr.
good
is still
objection.
around, so can't.
But
can't.
Who?
But
Downey
I
Jr.
think the
RDJ.
time is
Oh
dwindling.
well,
on
yeah.
him.
I mean, of like kind of the next
The next
a new
generation.
generation. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, Chris Pratt is the closest thing I can think of.
And he's Chris Pratt's almost 40, isn't he? He's not a younger guy. if
No, but I
remember
mean,
he
but he'll
almost
be
40?
around for quite a long
how
time.
I thought he was in his upper 30s. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Chris Pratt was in his upper 30s.
Find out. He's 43. Wow. You're
Oh,
My age.
wait, I'm sorry. Say that again.
This is my age.
Oh, he's not going to say it again. Mike's not going to say it
Who?
again. Mhm.
What did I say?
Uh-huh.
I said,
I
oh,
heard
he
it.
is. He's 43.
Uh-huh.
Did I say something else?
Uh-huh.
All right, I'll play it back. Hold on.
Let's
Somebody
go back to
clip
the
it.
tape.
Clip that for me. Please clip it for me and send it to me. Anyway,
what am I supposed to?
but no, but that's
I
the
think
problem.
he
Is
thinks
so
you
who,
said he was
who
right.
I mean,
Oh, that you're right.
Yeah.
There we go.
oh, it feels.
Mike's
so
caught
good.
up now. We can move on.
So
Okay.
good.
A broken
All right,
clock.
back over here to the
Broken
locals
clock
chat.
Royce
Frequency
over here.
Studios. Frequency Studios says, will it work this time? For a $5 tip, Frequency Studios was testing out to try to make sure that locals would work because it's a little bit funky over there. And then for another $5 tip, Frequency Studios says, I've been running YouTube commercials for my book for a couple of months, but the only results so far have been my money going to Google. I'll stick with it through the Christmas season, but then I've got to figure out something more effective. That was back when we were
Well,
It's usually what
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Lit, go ahead.
I'm just saying
Oh,
that's
God.
usually what happens. That's usually what happens when you go to like the ad revenue. If you're smaller, that's kind of a numbers game. Like you need to invest
Correct.
a lot of money into that for it to start working. But
Yep.
smaller scale, you're gonna get your comic book in front of eyes, but you're probably not gonna get anybody actually backing it or buying it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is an issue of scale because I mean, little guys like even me, it's spending money on advertising can be really expensive.
Mhm.
Like when you're Coca-Cola, you spend more money on advertising than anybody on the planet. But hey, look at that, you're the number one brand, and it's like you don't stop advertising because you're the number one brand. It's
Right.
costing you all this money, but it's all But when you're like, oh yeah, I've got a $2,000 ad budget so that I can try to make $5,000 on my book. It's like
Right.
it's a little
well,
harder.
and
but
here, Facebook ads don't work.
No, they don't.
Facebook ads are the biggest hunk of junk you could spend money on, period.
you've tried.
I have actually back in the days with my band and all that, and
I want to say
I-
what I usually say when anyone brings up Facebook and Instagram, but it's the F word, and I feel bad. So I'm not.
Actually, my Instagram ads, if my target is to get followers, work very well. And that's another thing is like Facebook advertising that stuff. It's not just that there's an art to creating ads, and it's a lot of creating ads, changing your ads, trying to find ads that have proper return value. If you're spending $1 per click, you're wasting your money. You've
Yep.
got to get it down. You've got to create an ad that grabs the audience in the first 3 seconds. That's your window of opportunity. You got 3 seconds.
And that's
to get
where I
somebody to
say
watch
that
the rest of your
Facebook
ad.
ads are almost useless, because most people, including myself, do not understand that 3-second window. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, no, I don't.
Well, it's such a short time that it's literally the lottery at that point. Even if you created an ad that hit on the right points perfectly, that
I'm
short
not
of an attention
ignoring
span-
you in
No.
chat,
So-
Convoy Bebop. Sorry.
There's a guy that wrote this book called like 1 Million Followers, and he actually did this whole. He's been working in social media for
How
like
dare you, Royce?
people, for companies and Hollywood and big stars and stuff for like 15 years. So as long as social media has been around,
Mhm.
and he's nailed it down. It's like you have that 3-second window, not to deliver your message. You have 3 seconds to convince the guy who's scrolling through Instagram or scrolling
To
through
pause
Facebook
and click.
to
guys
watch
asked
your
for it.
whole
Mhm.
commercial, however long it might be. If it's a 15-second commercial, that's why you'll notice, and it's like you're blind to it because it just happens all the time. Now, when Hollywood makes commercials for YouTube, for Instagram, or anything, they do a micro commercial at the beginning of their commercial.
Yep.
They'll give you 3 seconds of everything they need to hook you to watch the 30-second commercial.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah, that's
advertising, Facebook ads, they do work, but you have to understand how to work the algorithm.
No, and that's why I say that for most people that don't understand that, it doesn't work. Again, I don't understand. I didn't understand it years ago. Maybe I would have a better understanding of it. I didn't understand how to create or how to function my own freaking YouTube channel until just recently. The last 6 months have been absolutely incredible because I figured something out, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all asked for this. It's people on stream. Stop ignoring your best friend. Here he is.
So
Jeez, I'm out of here.
my microphone's broke. My microphone stand is broken. Remember last week when I said,
and we're ignoring the rest of the chat now too.
There we go.
I'm not
so
ignoring.
here's a question, Royce.
Oh God, no.
Uh-oh.
Where's the Griff mug, buddy? Where's the Griff mug? Where'd it go? Fuck! What'd you break? What'd you break
Must
while I
have
was
fallen
gone?
down with
My 20-year-old Yu-Gi-Oh cards that have never seen the light of day outside of a couple times are all over the fucking floor.
Yeah.
And my Griff smug is all over the floor.
Yeah, somebody was like, look what's missing. I look in the
I'm
background.
pretty
like,
sure
I'm gonna go yell at
everything
him.
is all over the floor.
So, yeah.
I have to get up out
So
of this
sad.
chair very carefully now.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I don't know if I can put all the cards back in the proper case. Damn it!
Probably not. It's just stuff, Royce.
I feel like a shitty interview host having to hold this fucking microphone. And this is
You're-
with the
you're-
volume turned up all the way.
No, I have 20 years. I have the original Yu-Gi-Oh tins that came out when I was a kid. Those cards have never seen the light of fucking day outside of when I open them and I put them back in the case and I only take them out to show them off. And now they are all over the floor.
Yeah,
Here comes the dog.
how'd that happen again?
I don't know.
He was
How-
getting very
the
excited.
God smote you for not paying enough attention to chat, I think is
I don't know
what
where
I
they
think we
s-
decided
Oh
upon.
my God, I'm actually going to have an aneurysm over this.
It's gonna be okay, Royce.
No, it's not.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, I don't have that many magic cards at all. But no, I just
AVP
won't
Music for
talk about
$10
magic
says,
cards.
tonight we ride.
It was retribution
much.
for your Korra.
yeah. No, that was
I,
that Trippy was like, "Hey, do you notice anything missing?" I'm like, "Where's the shelving unit? What happened?"
I didn't realize it
fuck did
spilled
I
my
miss?
Yu-Gi-Oh cards all over the floor. And I don't know where the Griff smug went. And I hope it's not broken. And I apologize if it is.
Fingers crossed.
Kikomon for $2 to show me, show you. Kikomon.
Ladies and
So
gentlemen,
Saru became a new
this
member.
is
I
the,
just checked it out.
this is the reason why you drill into studs when you hang things.
Actually, no. The nails didn't come out of the wall.
The
Shit
thumbtacks
got
came out of the
lifted
wall?
up and pulled off. I literally backed up the chair to a point where it lifted it up off of the nails and knocked it down. Nails are still perfectly in the wall where I set them.
Hmm.
Fuck you, Bill.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you don't have to. I've known you for 15 years, you son of a bitch. Swift Sword Rush for
Hey.
$3 says, Royce, that is your Cora intervention. I'm sorry.
I'm you can get mad at me all you want. You did that to yourself. Your best friend
Hey.
gets you a really cool mug from your favorite restaurant, and you decide to back up your chair and dump it on the floor with priceless Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah. They're not priceless. They're only worth $700 in the condition that they were in.
Have
Per
you looked
person.
recently?
Now they're not only
Then
priceless,
shut up!
they're worthless.
I know. I'm aware.
Oh,
I have to find all of them and put them all back in their proper tins, and I don't remember what that was based off of the codes. You're actually watching a nerd breakdown right now. It's not fun. Convoy Bebop for $2 says, send me the StreamYard link. I want to yell at you.
That was before I noticed. I didn't know about the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was just going to yell at you for messing up the mug, but now this has gotten infinitely worse or better depending on what point of view you're looking at.
hate you.
It's
I'm
worse for
lit-
people that like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but better for people that like watching you suffer in live.
So everybody in my chat right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Lit Dev, do you have friends like this? Do you know friends like this?
I only have friends like this.
Hey,
Me too. Ironically enough, I keep hanging out with them.
I also am that friend. So
Yeah, you're right. Oh no, I give it. Yeah, I give it back. Although I don't. One of the worst ones was I woke up one morning. I was late for work, and I got this. And all of a sudden, my phone buzzes, dude. It is 4:30 in the morning, and my phone buzzes, and I'm like, "What the hell is Bill sending at 4:30 in the morning?" And I'm like, "I gotta go to the shower." And I'm like, "He never texts this early. I gotta look at it." And I open up, and the meme says, "So do you think Tarzan was clapping monkey cheeks before he got with Jane
yes,
at
Yeah.
4:30 in the morning?"
this was when I was 2 hours ahead of you, to be fair.
And I was like,
It's not my fault it was 4:30 in the morning.
and I literally sent him a message back. I was like, I can't deal with your bullshit this early.
Yeah, I
I
love that
closed my-
post. It's like, do you think Tarzan was a virgin before he met
Jane.
Jane, or
Tarzan's
was she
where
clapping
AIDS
gorilla
came
cheeks?
What?
Tarzan's where AIDS came from.
Yeah, that joke too.
Or monkeypox. Ram for $2. My condolences, Royce. Rip Shelf and Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Kiko Man, what are you talking about my spending habits with?
Yeah. Geekomon for $5.
Oh.
Boy Bebop showing
No,
off his spending habits.
That's a
$199.98 instead of $19.99.
I didn't realize that was
What a
back there.
steal.
That was a Christmas tree that my mom bought years ago that she gave us. It's a 7.5 foot tall fake Christmas tree because she got a 2 foot tall one because she was tired of that one. We have a
Right.
little Triforce for a star topper.
I actually, our Christmas tree is it's the fake Christmas tree that my grandpa used to put up every year. And
Hey,
after Grandpa passed away and Grandma couldn't put it up anymore, she says, "Hey, do you guys want a Christmas tree for your house?" And Grandpa's not here to set it up anymore. I want to give it to you. And so that's the tree I still have. That I think that tree it's not as old as I am. That one was replaced when I was like 5. I think when my grandparents got that one was about 5. So yeah, it's a good one. F in the chat for the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I am not moving my chair intentionally right now because I don't want to roll over any of them. I have cards down there that are worth $200 a piece.
unrelated.
I'm not ever going to sell them, so the monetary value doesn't matter. But like, also, I really don't want to move right now.
it matters in principle. It's kind of like what Trump says.
Yeah.
It's not about the money; it's about how you keep score.
Yeah. No,
I
it's not
mean,
about the
so-
money or the debt.
mean-
It's about, what were we talking about again?
It's about what you put your money into.
Debt. We put our money into debt. What?
Investments, Royce. Investments.
Debt? I heard debt.
Investment.
Debt. Got it.
So
Inflation?
I put mine in random places around my house.
There you go.
Ew. Kikomon for $5 says, "Here's a super chat to remind you that you didn't read my super chat with the joke." What super chat did I not read?
I think he was talking about the Christmas tree one that I replied about.
I just pulled it up.
Yeah, I kind of answered the question without reading the super chat. That's a me
I
thing.
just pulled it up.
You all should know how to read. Like, you all should know
Slacking.
how to read. I'm not going to read it for you.
Mike comes on my show passively. He comes on my show, draws, and then points up, makes a joke at me, goes back to drawing, waits for somebody else to say something, responds to them respectfully, goes back to drawing, and then comes back up, makes fun of me some more, like 3 times in a row, goes back to drawing, and then respectfully addresses my co-hosts and my guests. Which,
Royce, you send me the link as if you don't know what I'm going to do.
It's called multitasking, Royce.
That's right.
Sir,
I've
Mike,
got a
I
comic
don't
book
get-
to draw here. I'm a professional.
I know I don't get able to hang out with the popular kids very often, okay?
I have no response to that.
Oh, good God. I don't know why the dinosaur is dancing right now.
We lost Convoy Bebop.
Oh,
Well, I
God.
wouldn't say we lost him.
Sir.
No, Kikomon, we definitely did read that one.
Cushions. That's where you keep our money. Oh, God.
Yes, indeed.
Sir, what happened?
He's back.
My fiance is playing Neverwinter, and for some reason, my internet takes the wireless PS4 as priority. Also,
hers priority. That's a good thing.
yeah, Kikomon says the super chat you didn't read was the one about a butthole.
Super chat about a butthole. Bunghole.
Yeah, he's like, no, the butthole one. It's like, oh, there he's just sent a $5. There's the joke.
Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. Kick him on for $5. Chinese proverb. Go to bed with itchy butthole and wake up with stinky finger. Oh, God.
Man who farts in church sits in pew.
Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? What is
On
is
an
this show?
unrelated note, good night, Ram.
Richard,
Goodbye.
good night, Ram.
He's like, fuck this,
Richard,
I'm
do you
out.
remember that when this show was respectable,
we have
like a month
Crushed
ago?
the 3-hour mark. This is where we usually
Yeah,
fall off
This
the
show
rails.
was respectable up until the point
remember
that
that.
you decided to have a Saturday night stream and invite my already drunken ass on. And I made one joke where I called you daddy, and your YouTube channel will not let it go. That's where that
not
started.
bad.
I made a drunken joke because that was your name on the Nintendo
it
Switch. So the
started with-
kids.
It started with John Della Rose.
Yeah, no, that.
calling you the
I'm
number one
specific.
Iron
You know
Age
what
guy.
one I'm talking about.
Oh, I know. I know. Mike was there. Mike was on that.
Yeah, I know he was.
And then and then much drunken things happened. And then
Yeah.
Richard wishes that he wasn't on this show anymore.
No,
You are more than welcome to
I'm
leave at
having
any
a wild
time.
time here.
He's just
You
Oh.
don't know in real life. You can leave at any time. If I try to leave, he'll find me.
that's true. I will. It's true. I won't. I hate that he makes fun of me, but also it gives me power. So
Little bit masochistic there.
$2 justice for Kikomon. Oh God.
Why?
I believe
Was the two
Mike.
T's
This
on
is
purpose?
Jeff, right? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Lord
Thank you,
Force,
sir,
yeah.
for $2. Oh, fantastic. Oh, well, the conversation has run amok at this point, and at
There's
this
a
point, I will give
ligma
anybody who
super-
wants to bow out a chance to bow out. So, Lit Dev, I will give you the first. If you want to hang out for the shenanigans, you are more than welcome. If you need to go, I fully understand.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Well, no, it's Lit
You-
Dev's turn.
Well,
It's
you
Lit
missed a
Dev.
super chat about Ligma.
I did not.
Ligma Johnson.
Swift Sword Rush says, Royce, you forgot about the Ligma super chat.
Where?
Ligma Johnson.
Lit Dev has muted. He said, fuck your goodbyes, I'm out.
I'm not seeing the super chats. I swear to God, if you guys are screwing with me.
I can't tell what they're not. I can't tell if they are or not. I'm just reading. According to them, you're fucking shit up. Oh.
I don't trust my chat fully.
No, just highlight his last message. You're fine.
Yeah. Oh God.
You're asking Royce to do things.
I know. A drink with Boomer trying to use a computer.
Chat, and I have been putting. I figured out how to save all the super chats so that way I can go back and read them later. And I've been saving all of them, and I don't see a super chat from Swift Sword Rush at all, unless it's over in the locals side, and it is not. I do not see one over in the locals side.
They're messing with you.
I am aware that they're messing with me, and I hate you all. You're all terrible people. I just want you to know that. Doing my best.
At least I think. I don't know. It's hard to tell when Kikomon is joking.
It really is. Anyway, literature devil, sir, you can hang out for a little bit longer, which we won't go for much longer. We'll probably start the goodbyes now, but if you'd like to hang out for a little longer, more than welcome to. Or
I go ahead and stay. I go ahead and stay for the super chats.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we have any more super chats unless unless my chat is screwing with me. I think I read the super chats.
No, he is messing with you. He
Yeah,
just wanted to get
around.
like balls.
Oh, okay. So they're totally screwing with me. I love my chat. 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 I love my chat.
Say a lie long enough.
Hey, did you get paid yet?
What? What do you mean? Did I get paid yet?
From YouTube?
Yeah. No.
It went through?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
I finally got through all their 18 freaking hoops that I had to jump through. And yeah, no, with that did actually happen, and it's very, very, that was really, really cool. And then locals is transacting now. My Gilded is transacting. So if people don't actually want to go through Google to support me, you guys can support me through my Gilded or my locals.
Side note with locals, it asks you for like, I think $2 to be part of the live chat.
That's a membership fee.
Yeah,
but
I'm not complaining
about
it.
Though.
Yeah, I wasn't complaining about it.
Yeah.
It was just at the time I wanted to join the locals, my account was already under from bills, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm stuck with Google.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you're already a member. And I would say this: if you guys are
I'm a what? A Mumba?
A Mumbo.
A mumbler.
You a Membo.
It's on Mumbo. You have to change it to Wumbo.
Hey, Lit Dev, can I PayPal you?
Yeah.
Because this says this super chat belongs to Lit Dev from Skunk's Workshop for $2. So
mine now.
Are you gonna do PayPal freaking goods and services so the taxes make it like $1.35?
Like 50 cents or something.
Absolutely.
Just in case there's a chargeback.
No. Oh God. No, I will say this. The one thing that I absolutely love about my chat is that they don't give two damns about roasting the hell out of me every week. And I appreciate it because it keeps me humble.
Raven, why do you complain when I do it?
Raven, I would.
Because you're not my chat. You're my guest, you ungrateful son of... Anyway.
Raven, his OnlyFans would just be screenshots from the stream of him getting up from his chair. Also, Kikomon sent another super chat.
my love. My wife comes downstairs. I pointed to her and she goes,
We heard.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
'cause
can't
she's the
move.
one that
That
put
was
that
a-
all up, right?
No, I
No,
put
Royce
all
did
of
it.
that. No.
You
It,
don't want me to get on my knees and
baby, I'm on still on the stream.
Welcome to the 18 and up part of the stream. It is after midnight Eastern
Oh
time.
no!
We're still on YouTube. We're still on YouTube.
We're still there. Everybody's like, we're still on YouTube.
Well,
Would you-
Raven, you were talking about
Baby, would you like to
OnlyFans.
poke
I mean,
your head
we're
up and say hi to the chat?
A drink with crazy is experiencing technical difficulties.
yeah.
Over here, Mendef.
I like how now that both of you are there, the OnlyFans comment is highlighted on the bottom still. Just gonna throw that out there real quick.
So that's so you know Bill.
Quick
This
switch
is
to
Richard.
locals.
You met him before. That's Daniel. You
I
met him
know-
before.
I know
That's
him.
that's Mike S. Miller, one of the most prolific comic book artists
I'm-
of our
friends
time.
with-
I know.
Royce,
That's
your
Literature
wife
Devil, the
watches
guy that
the
I was telling you
content.
about, that I was fangirling
Royce,
about. That
tell him you
just
watch
made a
his-
joke
He's
about
just
going
nerding
knees
out.
in front
Let him
of.
go.
That's Lit Dev. So hi, Lit Dev. This is my wife.
Hi.
Hello.
She is my big titty goth girl that I tell everybody about. And now she's my big titty goth wife. That's how you do that.
Was she down there this whole time?
Yes,
Well,
he has that.
the shelf fell down for a reason.
You're welcome.
Because you were ignoring chat.
No,
Maybe
baby.
that's why he was ignoring chat.
Sorry, I had. Okay.
Baby. Oh,
I'm just tilting it back
Okay.
so that way it doesn't.
yeah, the cards are. I am actually gonna have to go through all those and sort them back into their proper case. Oh God,
Just tell her
hello.
to grab the broom and the.
No, I'm not
That's
brooming
bad.
my cards, dude. No, those
This
are
is why
20
we
years old.
should have
They're
ended the
all in
stream
literally
10 minutes
mint
ago.
condition.
I'm sorry, we're
No.
just making a bunch of BJ jokes, and I just hear, I'm just gonna tilt it back.
Royce will get it sorted out.
Trippy soul clipped it.
What?
Trippy soul clipped
Damn it, Trippy! Trippy Soul clipped it.
it. At least.
Most likely.
Which part?
Raven Nevermore at Gunboy Bebop. You should get him to some OnlyFans. I think that's what you're commenting on before my wife came down
Yeah.
and said the thing. Kick him on for $5 to stop making me pay for mistakes. Switch post. Royce, this is for your core intervention. I'm sorry. Oh, what happened to my I thought my channel at one point was respectable, and then
When
what
did you get over that,
happened?
Bill?
Mike, I blame
Punishment for
you.
a 45-minute Korra diatribe, bro.
You're blaming Mike
I-
when you asked me to help you with this shit. You
I-
knew
well-
better. It's me. And you don't
Yeah, it
see
could be.
it, me.
It might be
This
both of
is
you.
a
It might be
channel
both of
about drinking stuff, and you know how I get.
Yeah, that's true.
You
That's true.
you knew this years ago.
Wait, what? You should put all of those
Yeah, your card sleeves.
individual
Yeah.
plastic protective
Swift-
sleeves before putting
Swift
back in the
sword
tins.
rush?
I probably will. The important ones are in protective sleeves.
Swift sword rust.
Oh shit! Oh god! Oh god!
With
Oh god!
sword
wait,
rust
wait, wait.
now.
Oh no! How many of them? fell
I
out?
didn't finish him saying that.
Only had a couple in sleep.
Is Lore
Well,
Forge-
yeah, because these are the important ones. I have more important ones that hopefully
Only one
didn't.
box.
Those are not
Oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh
only one
sized
box?
card holders either. Those are
Why not,
Magic
dude?
sized card holders.
Yeah.
Well, these are
is
just
kinda
what the
standard.
card shop had. These were
Yeah.
the most durable ones that the card shop had 20 years ago.
They're pretty standard.
But yeah, no, that's the blue
So-
eyes that, and that's the Lord
Oh,
of D.
I love
Don't that never
Mike?
shouldn't have said it.
Lore Forge says your chat is just as bad as us.
Liar.
Oh,
Also, they're saying your name's Mark.
oh hell!
Again.
the turntables. His name is Mark. Swift Sword Rush.
There's already a Mark Miller.
Swift for $2. Respectable ends at 11 p.m.
Why do you think the cigar comes out at that point?
Dude, I don't have any more cigars. I actually need to get a hold of Rob Rhymes, and I need to get a hold of.
Hey, your wife got a new job. I'll buy you some.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Tell her congrats. I didn't get a chance to comment.
Yeah. No, my wife was offered a new job. That's really cool. I won't talk about it here, but I will talk about it. Damn it! Now I got that cadence of like, I have this thing where like, my guests. I try to stop it, Mike. I try to emulate like my guests, or like I don't know why I do that. And then all of a sudden I'll start talking very similarly to how our lovely guest literature devil.
Don't listen to him. That motherfucker has never emulated a goddamn thing I've said. Ever.
Well, you're not my guest. You're my friend. There's a difference. Come on, it's Mark, not Mike. Sheesh, love you. For $2.
Not your guest. You invited me here.
No, you begged to be on with a super chat, good sir.
I didn't beg. I said I'm here to yell at you because you're dumb. You can't even argue with me, Mr. Knockover Shelf.
I really can't. Oh, ooh.
Warforged, what in the fuck?
Fantastic.
I need to get more cigars. I went through those cigars way too quickly. I smoked those.
Cigars are good.
Is a cooler
they're
a
very
good
good.
humidor?
Rob, so check this
These
out.
bad boys are amazing.
What company is that?
These are the Rocky Patel disciples.
Oh,
Love these.
oh, dude. Yeah, go to Rocky Patel. That is, believe it or not, where our good friend who writes this fantastic pulp novel, Rob Rhymes, he actually works for
Fucking
Rocky
Pulp
Patel.
Press.
And this is Dan the Destructor. He sent me a care package, and oh, good Lord. Oof. I actually want to set up a cigar stream. So anybody who wants to do a cigar stream, I want to set up a cigar stream one night, do a no holds bar. We talk about whatever we want to, however we want to. If it's one of those streams where people are like, hey, if you really want to do that, maybe we shouldn't do it on YouTube, not because we want to violate like YouTube terms of service, but just because we want to be free to just kind of shoot the shit. I'm totally down with that. Lit Dev, is that something you would be interested in by chance or no?
Smoking a cigar always.
Hell yeah.
Good man.
But not on my
Hey.
stream. I see how it is. I understand.
Real quick, highlight Loreforge's last comment because I didn't know about that. That's actually a pretty interesting thing.
Oh, that totally makes
Oh,
sense.
so
I
you put
never
humidifiers
thought about that.
inside the cooler. Ah,
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Huh.
Needs to be small though, for sure. Unless you
I
have
mean-
a lot of cigars.
Yeah.
He knows cigar collectors who have dozens of them filled with cigars. That's insane. I know. We know you're not exaggerating. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Is this mic super quiet again?
No,
no, you're good.
no.
Okay,
I'm
I
good.
have the
No,
volume
you've been
maxed
pretty
all
loud.
the way up. I have the volume all the way up.
yeah, you don't have to do that.
Well, last time
I can tell.
last
So
time
Bill,
I
hold
had
it.
this,
Hold it.
last
hold it
time I
away.
had this microphone, Royce complained that nobody could hear me. The whole stream complained that nobody could hear me.
So,
Well,
well,
right there.
but here's the problem is that StreamYard does stupid stuff on the back end. So it
Okay.
always picks up audio differently. That's a StreamYard thing. And you have to go in the back end and change the settings so that way it stops doing that. But yeah.
Interesting. I apologize for being loud then. This microphone ran quiet, so I was compensating.
No, you're good. So with all of that being said, I will set up a cigar stream.
Royce
I
still's
will
trying to end.
also share the Indiegogo link for Dr. Alpha, Dead Man's Lullaby, Volume 1, down in the chat below. And hopefully you guys take that. Now, here's the thing. That is not what I copied. Why are you not listening to me right now, computer? Oh, my God.
A drink with Boomer strikes again.
Dude, it's not even that.
Oh
I'm
Are you
man,
sure it's not?
link to
Oh,
pornography instead of the link to the Indiegogo. Oh man.
oh, shucks. Oh boy,
Spoiled
what a
again.
sad day. Well, we get titties instead of Dr. Alpha. God, I wanted more Dr. What were we talking about again? Oh, right, titties. I mean
Outros.
literature devil, literature titties. Sorry, what?
Literal.
I'm just gonna leave the eyebrow up for a while.
People's eyebrow.
Was it as cringe for you as it was for me?
Mhm. I'm questioning all of your life choices now, Royce.
I have
Except for marrying your wife.
I was gonna say, I have an amazing wife. I have 4 awesome children. I am able to sit here on stream every night with you guys on Friday night while getting absolutely eviscerated mentally, emotionally, and philosophically.
Yes, every night, but only on Fridays.
Every Friday night. I said every
You said
Friday.
no. You said every night on Fridays. That's how you worded it.
Why are you
Literature
constantly
devil.
harassing poor Royce about making mistakes?
Don't you no, you don't get oh shit. Now my tablet's falling. Son of a bitch.
Oh my god!
All right.
First the priceless Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Now the tablet they don't make anymore.
Literature Devil, how was your first time on Iron Age Knights? Question mark.
People burning alive, dismembered tongues, and people licking each other with them. Like it's pretty good so far.
Was it
God,
as
you're
memorable as
talking
your
about all
other first time?
Hey! The real takeaway of tonight is that Mike just defended Royce for once.
Well, we also fixed the Legend of Korra, right?
Yeah, cringe takes on Legend of Korra, like everything. Had everything.
Don't
Yeah,
forget,
you know.
Red Panda.
Oh
Gotta learn
god.
about Red Panda and how awful that was.
Yeah, no,
See,
that was actually,
see,
admittedly, yeah.
The chat agrees with me that Royce is dyslexic. Skunk's Workshop was also confused.
Mr. Mike S. Miller, how are you doing, and how was your most recent visit to Iron Age Knights?
Oh, is that where I am? I must have
well,
made a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Sir, you've got to stop smoking the ganja. I know you're in California, but calm down just a little bit. He
No.
smokes 2 joints in the morning.
I feel like I came and I
Really?
did my part. So
Oh God.
There's a sex joke in there somewhere. I'm just not gonna say it.
We don't need to find it.
Kikomon for $2. Make sure you wash your itch butt before you sleep. I'm not gonna comment on that. Thank you. So Kikomon's drunk. I love Kikomon. He's fucking awesome. Mr. Daniel P. Riley, how are you doing, good sir? Bill, I'll get to you.
Very well, thank you very much. I'm ready to smoke this cigar, so let's get backstage.
I know he's like, dude, I want the after show now because I know when the cigars are out, everybody's ready for the after show. Richard from Iron Age Media, I might need to talk with you offline about something in our gilded chat, but
Is it the OnlyFans?
no, it's actually really cool. It's actually
Is
a
it the
really cool thing.
OnlyFans?
It's the OnlyFans.
Yes.
Now that there's not only
I was just gonna
Image
ask
AI, but
thong
there's
or
also
G string.
chat
Like that's
AI.
all I was gonna ask. It wasn't that big of a deal, but whatever, Bill. You had to spoil
we
it.
can
Why are you
we
wearing
can generate nudes,
Regimental like
all
you're
that
supposed
jazz.
to.
How was your last week been, good sir?
Very good. I was going to show once again my wife's book that she has done the second edition of. The
I
Gathering
have that
Legacy.
book.
It's fixed on Amazon now, so there shouldn't be any hoops that you have to jump through to find the correct
Fantastic.
edition.
Yes.
So
Have
And-
you prepared a link that you could possibly share in the chat,
well, obviously I did that.
in the private chat or like my chat? Or
Yeah,
I
I
need to
would
make you a mod on the
definitely-
channel. I need you to actually comment down.
I think I am a mod on the channel, but that doesn't mean that I necessarily.
You are not.
No, you are not. You need to.
Oh, I'm not. I was for a little while because I was able to drop an Iron Age Media link in there, but
No
I've
mods.
got the
friend.
link. Don't hold on. I'll
Just post it
get
in
it
the
here in
private
just a
chat.
second.
Because Iron Age Media is absolutely fantastic at like shilling everybody else's stuff on the planet other than his own. I didn't know that
There's
he had a
also-
YouTube channel until like 2 or 3 weeks after he had the YouTube channel.
I'm the
Well, I
same
did
way.
miss the upload last week, so I failed, and I've decided that I'm doing those on Sundays instead of Fridays because Thursday nights are just too chaotic for everything there. But yeah, I'm going to start trying to prep the entire week of site content on Sundays, and so then I can do the video for the previous week, and I think it should be much smoother that way.
It works out easier doing it that way.
Don't see a link from Iron Age Media.
I know. I'm looking. I should have.
Normal people.
Hey.
I missed an upload last week. Me. I haven't uploaded on my own channel in a year.
Oh God. Oh, and I actually I don't know if I'll commit to it this week, but I believe I'm going to start a streaming schedule on ADWC Gaming, which is Drink with Crazy Gaming, on the ADWC Gaming channel, and I am probably going to do. It's going to be Mondays and Wednesdays for sure. And one of those nights is I'm just going to pick a story game and we're going to run through that. It's going to be a story game night. And then the other night of the week is going to be just an arcade game night. I'll pick something random, maybe an indie game, maybe not. Just something fun to play, hang out with the chat. And we're going to do those on Mondays and Wednesday nights. My schedule is rapidly filling up. And then over the weekends, I will be writing music, responding to comments, and all of that. So yeah, I'm getting back into the music
Eventually
writing.
playing the Star Shatter tabletop.
Yep, that's going to be on Saturday nights as well. That's going to be the Star Shatter tabletop is coming soon. Working out all of those details, ironing all that out. Building characters right now, potentially writing a theme song for that, while also writing a theme song for Iron Age Nights. And I may or may not.
Which, for those of
be
you
writing
that,
a Christmas song.
for those of you
now.
that haven't been around super often, there is a third person in the original trio of A Drink with Crazy, a very good friend of ours, who is helping with said music. But he is not much around.
I'm getting. I was talking with him tonight. Actually, he's a music guy. Yeah, that's this thing. Kikomon for $2. Iron Age Media. My offer still stands. Busy man. I don't know what that means.
I haven't forgotten. I'm actually messaging him right now on Gilded.
Is it OnlyFans?
No, well, I mean,
Well, it's always OnlyFans.
it's technically
with Kikomon.
OnlyFans, but I want to do AI image generation plus text, and then just have
Raven-
Plus OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
AI images plus OnlyFans. Mike, that's what we were missing the other night.
Real quick, Raven
I think
Nevermore,
I think
if
in
you
8
want
months.
to suggest games, do it in the Gilded.
Yep. Go to the Gilded.
Sorry,
Raven
I didn't
Nevermore
mean to
is
get
actually.
the mic so close.
Nope,
I just,
you're good. Yeah, you don't need to get. Raven Nevermore is
I
actually.
did it on
open already.
purpose.
I know. I'm aware.
Before we run away with everything, one last note for everybody. I said I would mention this. One of either Richard or I would, but I said I would mention it. Periapsis Press, Katie Room put together a Christmas story anthology, Periapsis Christmas. You can find it on Kindle on Amazon. I will get a link. For some reason, my Discord is being retarded on my laptop right now.
Give me 2 seconds here, good sir. Would you, by chance, be talking about that link that I'm dropping in the chat right now?
Probably.
Most likely you are. Katie actually shot me a message on Gilded, and she was like, "Hey, I know you showed interest in this, and I just wanted to make sure that you had it."
Yep.
For when it was there, and I was like, "Oh, sweet!" And then I absolutely forgot because I'm a complete d bag of a human being. And then you just reminded
I'm aware.
me, so thank you for being. Oh, fuck off!
Yeah, it's like TJ Marquis, Alexander Helene, Kaelin Radcliffe. They all contributed stories to this little Christmas.
That's incredible.
And if you don't want the Kindle, if you don't want an ebook version, I think
we'll be doing
that
a
they said-
paperback eventually.
Yeah, well, not eventually, like in the next week or two, is what they said. So
Yep. Nope. The paperback is actually coming out in a week. They said.
yeah, so
Makes
tentatively,
me
if you'd
so
rather have a
freaking
physical
happy.
copy,
Yes.
Kindle for
So-
now, paperback soon.
Oh, and she is so freaking cool. Like, she's been here a few times, and
That's why I wanted to make sure she got her
Yep.
5 minutes from us tonight.
and hopefully, I am going to throw this out there to everybody. And I believe the 23rd of December, which is the Friday before Christmas, we are planning on doing another stream where we send an invite out to all of those who have been here on Iron Age Nights, and they can come out, and we're going to do a special holiday conversation, which is just going to be us gathering together and talking with everybody that we can on the
Can we call it a
23rd.
very merry Iron Age night?
I
There we
do.
go.
Actually, that's exactly what I was gonna do. Like I was gonna be
Yes.
like, a very merry Iron Age nights, and I was gonna do like a little Santa hat on a like I'd try to find like a knight's face, or I might put Shad's face on just because I can. And those people, but no, but everybody, like I said, everybody we've had special guests on the channel. Lit Dev, you're gonna get an invite. Please come back. Mike, you're also gonna get an invite. You can stay home for that one.
I do this from my home.
He is
You
home.
can stay in a different room for that one. Anyway, but no, it's just gather together, and we're just gonna have in the truest meaning of it, and I do mean this, just have everybody come together and just have some holiday cheer, talk about the good things, and maybe rant a little bit about some other things, but ultimately just have a fantastic Christmas hangout with all of those out there.
Really bad drunken caroling.
Oh,
Let Dev, when does
Oh.
your campaign end?
In about 5 days.
5 days.
About 5 days.
so ladies and gentlemen, you really need to go over.
Yeah, it's almost over.
Yeah, no, but you need to go over there and support him, because he's like
5 days.
2,000. He's like $2,500 away. He's $2,500 away
Very close.
from being funded. He's almost there. So like, if you guys give him like, what is it, like $500 a day, he could be funded. He could be funded. Was that a good
Easy
pothead
payments of
voice? I don't know.
$500.
I've never been a pothead, so I don't know if that's a good pothead voice.
Why?
Why haven't you ever been a pot?
Why were you trying to do a pothead voice?
Oh, why
I'm
was
not
I
gonna
trying to
say
do a
what it
pothead?
sounded
I don't
like
know,
either.
because I thought it was funny, and you made the 420 joke on my channel, and that actually is still a thing when it shows up once in a while.
420. What?
Oh no. And before we start getting a bunch of 420 super chats, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who has been here tonight. It's been absolutely fantastic. And we are going to do the absolutely awesome outro where people think that we meant to leave, but we don't actually leave, because it's technically a hot outro, because that's just how we do here. It's the greatest thing when people are like, guys, you're still here, right? I love seeing those chats.
Yeah,
Let's
but
see how many people do
you're
it.
ruining the magic, Royce.
Yeah.
You're ruining the magic,
Can't
Mike.
Explain it.
You
Oh,
stop
My
it, Mike.
favorite part is how he asked everybody else how they were, and just
I like how he tells
once again
everybody.
kicks me to the curb. Doesn't ask me anything. He doesn't
Nobody
care about his friends,
cares.
folks.
You don't care about me. Don't even go there. Shut up. You showed up just to give me shit.
Yeah, because you
I thought
broke
that's
the
why you
very.
said
You
you liked-
almost broke a very sentimental gift I gave you out of the kindness of my heart and friendship.
No,
Oh,
it's fine.
Totally
It's
not.
fine.
gonna
It's
let
not
that go.
broken. I see it.
I don't
here.
have any proof. There's no proof.
Don't be
I don't see
bitter.
any proof. You broke it
It's-
just like my heart.
It's not broken. Actually, it's perfectly fine. Thank God.
Can you show the proof?
Not
No,
on
it's
screen. I'll send you a picture.
Why not on
Very-
screen? The chat is
No, I'll
concerned that it's
No, I'll
broken.
send you a picture. It's fine. It's fine.
Chat, are you
fine.
scared that the mug is broken?
There will
and
be
he's not
something
gonna show
very
you?
small in the
Chat
picture. Don't
doesn't
look at
care
it.
about the mug.
Oh God! And Daniel has joined the backstage. He's going to smoke that cigar.
There's a backstage? How the fuck do you do that again?
What?
How the fuck do you StreamYard?
Hungry.
Oh God! Iron Age Media is going backstage too. Make sure you guys mute. If you guys don't mute, it's gonna get really screwy. Oh, good Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go backstage for the after show. And I want to say thank you to everybody so much for being here for Iron Age Nights number 8. It has been an absolutely fantastic show. Thank you so much for the jokes, for the serious
Usually so much
conversation,
better
for
when
the
I'm here.
laughs, and for being here. And simply thank you so much. And we will see you next week.